Chapter 1205. Daddy. Lin Feng finally came back to his senses when he heard the shy voice of a child. Looking at the little girl's face, her big eyes were very similar to Ling Er's. Her facial features also had his own outline. Looking into her eyes was like looking at himself. A sense of intimacy from the bottom of his heart made his heart beat faster and his chest rise and fall. The feeling of blood dissolving in water was not a lie. With Lin Feng's bloodline strength, even the slightest fluctuation could resonate with him. I have a daughter now. Lin Feng laughed heartily. He did not expect Ling Er to give him such a big surprise. Bending down, Lin Feng smiled and used his little finger to gently hook the little girl's hand. Good girl. What is your name? My name is Lin Xining. I'm 2.5 years old this year. The little girl looked at Lin Feng with her big round eyes. Lin Xining, Lin Xining. Lin Feng softly muttered this name. The little girl said in a childish voice, Mommy said that Daddy is the hero in her heart, so she gave me this name. Daddy, are you really a hero? Lin Feng's heart was filled with warmth. Looking at Ling Er, he could feel her sincere feelings. He gently patted his daughter's head and smiled. Of course, Daddy is not only the hero in Mommy's heart, but also your hero. With a slight tremble, Lin Feng hugged his soft and boneless daughter. Being a father for the first time felt like a dream. That feeling was sweet and warm. Daddy, play hide and seek with me. Daddy, Mommy won't let me eat ice cream. Can you take me to eat it? Daddy, I want to go to the amusement park to play. Very quickly, Lin Xining was entangled with Lin Feng. The reason was very simple. It was because Lin Feng agreed to everything his daughter wanted to do. Lin Feng did not even think before agreeing. This little girl was innocent and did not know much about the world. It was very easy to get her to like you as long as you treated her well. Daddy, will the Ferris wheel fall? It's okay. Daddy can fly. Daddy, Mommy said that eating so much ice cream will make my stomach hurt. It's okay. With Daddy here, you won't get sick. Daddy, in the elemental amusement park, a giant Ferris wheel was slowly rotating, surrounded by the legend rankers of the Elemental Commerce Alliance. These warriors, who were usually elusive, were currently guarding the surroundings like bodyguards, not a single hair out of place. On the colorful Ferris wheel, 3 beautiful figures were feeling warm and happy. The little girl is tired from playing. Lin Feng hugged his daughter, Lin Xining. After playing for an entire day, she was exhausted and had already fallen asleep. How can you spoil her as much as you do? Of course she'll be tired. Xiaoling rolled her eyes. Lin Feng caressed his daughter's long hair. Because I miss too much. He didn't see her when she was born. He didn't see her as a baby. He didn't see her learning to walk. He didn't see too many things. Some things were lost and gone. The only thing he could do was to cherish what was in front of him and take good care of her. I also didn't think that I would only find out about her after you left. Xiaoling looked at her daughter gently. Don't worry too much, Brother Lin. Business is more important. You are different from others. You bear a greater responsibility. Not only me, there are thousands of families that need your protection. How can I be so selfish? Ling Er. Lin Feng held Xiaoling's hand. There are thousands of words he wanted to say. Xiaoling laughed. Don't worry. Xining is very happy. She has a grandmother, grandfather, uncle, and aunt who love her. She is the little princess of the Elemental Commerce Alliance. She can have anything she wants. If I didn't stop her from spoiling her, who knows what she would be like now? Lin Feng smiled. Once in a while. Next time, I won't spoil her too much. I understand, Xiaoling said softly. They looked at each other and smiled. The 3 figures in the Ferris wheel were tightly huddled together. There was no need to say anything. At this time, silence was better than words. They quietly enjoyed their sweet happiness. In the next few days, Lin Feng accompanied his family, especially his daughter, Lin Xining. Lin Feng didn't delay his business. His father-in-law, Xia Rufeng, continued to oversee the Elemental Commerce Alliance. Indeed, he had taken a wrong path, but his heart wasn't bad. He wasn't someone who liked to scheme. From the beginning to the end, he had done his best to make the Elemental Commerce Alliance stronger. He arranged for Xia Ling and Huang Tian to assist Xia Rufeng. As long as the 2 of them opposed any matter, they could reject Xia Rufeng's orders. Xia Ling's position was very important. Firstly, she and Xia Rufeng were father and daughter. There wouldn't be any gap between them. Secondly, she was kind and gentle by nature. Therefore, she wouldn't do anything out of line. Lastly, Xiaoling herself also hoped to do something other than just being the wife of Huaxia. Wu Luan, you are directly responsible for Ling Er. Monitor all the warriors in Huaxia and the Elemental Commerce Alliance. Whoever has bad intentions, who wants to make a big fuss, who is scheming in the dark, immediately report to Ling Er. Let her decide. I give you the right to execute the serious ones. No problem, boss. Wu Luan's eyes lit up. Mao Bai and his son gave him a wake-up call. Ling Er and Wu Luan were the key to eliminating future troubles. After all, he would enter the Milky Way sooner or later. Death anniversary, Lin Feng said. Yes, master. Death anniversary appeared behind Lin Feng. I will arrange for you to cultivate. Lin Feng said, I want you to open up the level 4 source astral boundary in the shortest time possible. Break through the boundary and become a cosmic system expert. Swoosh. Death Anniversary's eyes lit up. Thank you, master. Death Anniversary cupped his hands. No need to thank me. I have another mission for you. Lin Feng said, when you succeed in your cultivation, it will be the day I head to the Milky Way. You will protect Earth and my family on my behalf. Yes, master. Death Anniversary didn't have any objections. To him, obedience was the purpose of the soul contract. Becoming a cosmic system expert was his dream. Everything had a price. Tong Tian Tower, in front of the Sky Garden. Lin Feng stood in the wind. The Sky Garden had become a two-way teleportation formation. As long as one knew the method, they could enter and leave Nemo planet freely. After waiting on Earth for more than 10 days, there was still no news of the miracle Holy King, Chi Hao. It was as if he had completely disappeared. He didn't care too much. Lin Feng's eyes were hazy. He put his hands behind his back and frowned deeply. September 108 War Martial Era. Deep in my source astral boundary bloodline, there was a deep throbbing and a strong call from my heart. At that time, he didn't know what was going on, but now he knew. That time was when Ling Er gave birth. His daughter, Lin Xining, was born. Their bloodlines were connected, so it wasn't strange for their hearts to sense each other. However, War Martial Era, 107 War Martial Era, mid-August. Lin Feng pursed his lips. His eyes suddenly shone. He clearly remembered that there was also a strong throbbing in his heart at that time. It was stronger and deeper. Chapter 1206. Lin Feng could sense the existence of left purple pupil through the true eye contract. In fact, even without the true eye contract, it was not difficult for him to find left purple pupil on planet Nemo with his current realm power cultivation. However, he did not know how to face left purple pupil, or how would left purple pupil face him. There was an invisible gap between the two of them that separated them. Indeed, he could take the initiative to do this, but with left purple pupil's personality, she would probably break up with him. He already owed her too much and could not hurt her anymore. Many things needed time to settle down. Demon Eye Emperor, Lin Feng called out his mind. Master, what are your orders? The soul contract could directly connect both parties, including the true eye contract. Help me do something. Lin Feng looked at the Sky Garden. He was only one step away from planet Nemo. However, this step was extremely heavy. Lin Feng returned to Elemental City and officially settled down. It was not only because miracle Holy King Chi Hao could appear at any time, but also because he wanted to spend more time with his daughter to make up for the late fatherly love. Gathering with his family was joyous and harmonious. After cultivating to the cosmic system level, Lin Feng's strength temporarily slowed down and entered a new stage. He would first sort out China and the Elemental Business Alliance before improving the bloodline and strength of the humans on Earth. How's the cosmic energy conversion device? Lin Feng asked. 3 years ago, when he left, Wenjing developed the cosmic energy conversion device successfully. Using one-star universe crystals, it could increase Earth's spirit chi by more than 10 times and reach the minor star level. This was very important because if Earth spirit Qi did not reach the minor star level, then the limit of the humans on Earth cultivation would be close to the perfect body. However, now, it could reach the minor star level. The conversion energy is still not enough. The improvement is slow. The conversion rate of the one-star universe crystal has nearly doubled from the initial 3/100, 000 to 5/100, 000 now. When Jing reported, it is estimated to reach 0.6% this year, more than 20 times Earth's spirit Qi. No rush. Take it slow, Lin Feng said. Haste makes waste. Whether it was on Earth or himself, they had time to wait. 2 to 3 years might be a long time for Wen Jing, but she did not know that the technology empires in the Milky Way often took hundreds or even thousands of years to develop a technology. 3 years was a very short time in terms of technology. However, due to the lack of materials, only 8 cosmic energy conversion devices were made. In the past 3 years, I have improved the manufacturing materials. Now I have successfully made 56, Wen Jing said. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. 56 plus 8 meant that there were currently 64 cosmic energy conversion devices, 8 times more than before. The overall improvement efficiency was greatly increased. Very good. Lin Feng nodded in satisfaction. By the way, stop the current work for a while and hand it over to Deputy Director. Vice Director Yi Huiru had also participated in the elemental territory defense during the Great Extinction. She was a genius who had passed Sky Split Tower at the same time as Wen Jing. Although her strengths were not as outstanding as Wen Jing's, she was better in all aspects. Her overall score was 88 points, and she was ranked 5th among all the martial artists who had passed Sky Split Tower. Wen Jing was stunned. She looked up with a pale face and said, King of Huaxia, don't worry, I'm not holding you accountable. Lin Feng smiled and said, I just have another mission for you. Not only you, but Sun Shengren is also in it. Only then did Wen Jing feel assured. She smiled and said, sorry. It's nothing. Is 3 days enough for you? Lin Feng asked. MHM, Wen Jing replied. He officially opened the Shiva sect Holy Temple and Sky Split Tower. Lin Feng was a man of his words. To him, these 2 sacred ruins were not very useful. Plus, the core was still under his control. The true Shiva sect Holy Temple and Sky Garden were the core areas of the sacred ruins. Even the powerful beings on Earth could not enter these 2 sacred ruins. Other than these 2 sacred ruins, the Bermuda Triangle and the Egyptian Pyramid were also owned by the Elemental Commerce Alliance. Wen Jing had been using the technology of the Bermuda Triangle as a reference, but it was not very effective. No matter how smart she was, she could not compare to the cosmic system level technology that had existed for billions of years. To be able to see the surface was already a talent. Lin Feng was not worried about this. Soon, he would form a soul contract with Professor Jean. By then, Professor Jean would have better control of the Bermuda Triangle. As for the Egyptian Pyramid, there were too many secrets hidden there. There were cosmic system-level beings in the pyramid. There was no benefit in entering it casually. Instead, it might be dangerous. The best way was to put it aside for now. Before he had absolute confidence, there was no need to explore it pointlessly. It will take at least a year or so for Death Day to reach level 4 in the Origin Star Realm. It might take a few years or even a few decades. Right now, Lin Feng was hoping that the miracle Holy King would appear sooner so that he could get rid of this huge rock in his heart. Otherwise, he would have to wait until Death Day grew to a cosmic system level. Skyheart Crystal Coffin. Lin Feng looked at the completely transparent crystal coffin in front of him. A faint fragrance wafted out. At this moment, the Heaven's Heart Crystal Coffin was the day of the Emperor's death. Lin Feng did not enter the Shiva sect Holy Temple to get other cosmic system-level treasures. This was a crucial period. The power of the powerful beings on Earth was rising day by day. The various sacred fruits and pills from Planet Nemo were distributed in an orderly manner. The elites of the Elemental Commerce Alliance took the lead, while the powerful beings of China took the support. Under Sun Shengren's suggestion, They combined the universal energy conversion device with a medicinal pool. One-man cultivation room, two-man cultivation room, 10-man cultivation room. Under Lin Feng's leadership, the Elemental Commerce Alliance's power grew rapidly. Especially after Lin Feng's 3 decisions, the number of martial artists who came to join the Elemental Commerce Alliance increased. Some respected Lin Feng's character, some worshipped Lin Feng's charisma. There were all kinds of people. First, we'll establish Mars. Then, we'll spend 10 years slowly transforming Jupiter. Lin Feng set the Elemental Commerce Alliance's policy. The Elemental Commerce Alliance's next path was not on Earth, but the entire solar system. Below, the powerful beings of the Elemental Commerce Alliance strongly agreed. They imagined the future of the Elemental Commerce Alliance. Lin Feng's arrival not only boosted their confidence, but it was also like an unreachable mountain standing behind them. They no longer needed to worry. Also, I'll establish a level of elite seed selection. There will be 3 levels: 10% mind expanse, 40% mind expanse, and 70% mind expanse. Lin Feng said slowly, other than the 70% mind expanse for the Elemental Commerce Alliance, the 10% and 40% mind expanse for the entire human race. Anyone can sign up. I'll personally select them. If selected, they will be given the best cultivation conditions unconditionally. Immediately put up the notice. Lin Feng said seriously. The eyes of the powerful beings of the Elemental Commerce Alliance lit up as they responded. The plan had been carried out, and everything was going smoothly. Suddenly, Lin Feng let out a soft "oh" and revealed a surprised expression. Chapter 12:07. 87%. Lin Feng was astonished. His realm force had already covered the entire Earth, monitoring every warrior on Earth, including Xiao Yi. In less than 2 days, her mind expanse had increased from 85% to 87%. The speed was astounding. The further one's mind expanse progressed, the slower it would be. Wen Jing took a few months to go from 85% to 87%. She is indeed a genius. Lin Feng laughed instead of worrying. The stronger Xiao Yi was, the more outstanding her aptitude was because she was an earthling, taking 10,000 steps back. So what if she won the bet? Lin Feng did not believe that he would suffer any substantial losses. Instead, he would gain a super genius that exceeded his expectations. Her talent in the path of science and technology, as well as sacred force cultivators, is comparable to Brother Li's talent in the path of a warrior. Lin Feng cast his gaze in another direction. It was in the direction of the capital's Great Wall of sacred remains. Brother Li was different from him. He had always been a carefree person, accustomed to his freedom. He left after returning to Earth for less than 3 days. He entered the Great Wall of sacred remains. Brother Li will likely meet junior brother Xiangyu. I wonder if his apprenticeship went smoothly. Lin Feng smiled. Li Poji was born in China, just like him. His blood had fused with China, and he wielded True Dragon sacred force. He met the requirements of True Dragon Sovereign's apprenticeship. If there were no accidents, he would likely become his junior brother. Teacher's apprenticeship will only get more lively. Lin Feng nodded. As the Earth developed, more and more powerhouses would emerge one after another. The reason why he established the super elite seed selection was because of this. Humans on Earth were severely underestimated due to their low mind expanse. Some warriors were born strong, but some were born weak. But as their bloodline awakened, the seed of strength buried deep in their bodies would slowly awaken and become stronger. Earth was once a 9-star planet with life. Earth once gave birth to the first generation of God-fiend humans. Even now, the 3rd generation of humans were still connected by blood, passing down the torch. Extra. China's king, Lin Feng, is selecting elite seeds. Any age, any mind expanse can participate in the evaluation. Only potential, not strength. If one is selected as an elite seed, one's future will be limitless. There is even a chance of becoming China's king, Lin Feng's personal disciple, or even his disciple. The selection of super elite seeds was carried out in a flurry. With the Elemental Commerce Alliance's network covering the whole Earth, everyone soon knew about it. Moreover, it was held in the name of the king of Huaxia, Lin Feng. Who wouldn't want to give it a try? What if he was chosen? Among the 4 strongest people on earth, Huang Tian was personally promoted by the king of Huaxia. Xiao Yu appeared out of nowhere and shocked the powerhouses on earth. At such a young age, he is firmly ranked among the top powerhouses on earth. His future is limitless. The reason why he has such achievements is not because of how outstanding his talent is, but because he has a master, the king of China, Lin Feng. If I can become the disciple of the king of Huaxia, I will be able to make a great leap and amaze the world with a single brilliant feat. The elemental territory was overcrowded. Huang Tian, Xiao Yu, Xia Rufeng, and the other experts of the Elemental Commerce Alliance were in charge of every place. They carefully selected every warrior, looking only at potential, not strength. Perhaps to humans on Earth, there was a huge difference between 10% mind expanse and 70% mind expanse. However, to Lin Feng, there was no difference. Age, personality, and talent were what he valued the most. Talent was important, but personality and habits were also important. Earth didn't lack geniuses, but geniuses who could fulfill their talents. Take Blood Shadow, for example. His talent was not as good as Lipoji's, but he could fulfill 150% of his talent. In fact, this was another kind of talent, the talent of personality. 3-level selection. The super elites will be the first batch of humans to enter the Nemo planet. Lin Feng already had a comprehensive plan. According to the ladder of the Glory Alliance, the 3-level ladder structure was simple, direct, and without any omissions. As long as one was strong and had potential, even if they started at the bottom, they could slowly climb to the top. The key factor in this plan was Xiao Yu, Lin Feng's first disciple, as well as his only disciple. In just 3 short years, Xiao Yu became one of the top 4 experts on Earth. This made Lin Feng feel very gratified. He hadn't helped Xiao Yu much because he hadn't been on Earth for the past 3 years. Xiao Yu had received excellent treatment and conditions, but he had relied more on himself to succeed. Because of Xiao Yu's success, Lin Feng recognized the potential of Earth's martial artists. If he carried out this plan, he would only lose some resources. If he won, he would have profited greatly. 88%, 89%, 90%. Xiao Yi's mind expanse was growing at an astonishing speed. Lin Feng frowned, as such an astonishing growth rate was unimaginable. He wanted to see what Xiao Yi had done, especially the 90% mind expanse, which was a threshold. However, she had effortlessly crossed it. I still underestimated her. Lin Feng was full of praise. Her potential was far from being fully realized. Previously, in the Baohua Garden, the research equipment wasn't advanced enough, and the number and quality of research assistants weren't good enough. However, she was able to create one miracle after another. Now that everything was top-notch, her strength truly began to explode. China will turn from the twin stars into a tripartite balance. Lin Feng smiled. Xiao Yi's appearance was very similar to his appearance in front of Lipoji and Zikuei. When the time comes, if she can develop a 0 to 100 mind expanse capsule or medicine, Earth will welcome a new life and soar. Lin Feng was looking forward to it. For some reason, he had an inexplicable belief that Xiao Yi could do it. She was a super genius who could turn the impossible into the possible. However, I can't let you win this bet. Lin Feng smiled. He still preferred to have the initiative in his own hands. Swish, swish. Lin Feng took the lead to send Wen Jing and Sun Shengren into the 10,000 origin mustard stone. Winning was one aspect. Another aspect was that a 100% mind expanse perfect body would yield twice the results with half the effort when researching technology. His thoughts were agile, clear, and more creative. If it's fast, it'll take half a day. If it's slow, it'll take 8 to 10 days. Lin Feng was very clear. The speed depended on the strength of the duo's soul. The stronger the soul, the faster it would be nurtured and absorb more. As for Xiao Yi's bet, he was determined to win. Oh! Lin Feng's eyes flashed as he flew into the air. His gaze landed in the direction of the Sky Garden. Demon Eye Emperor's telepathy had already reached him. He had asked Demon Eye Emperor to ask Left Purple Eye. However, she rejected him. Sigh. Lin Feng sighed softly, feeling helpless. Although this was an outcome he had long guessed, he still found it difficult to calm down. I hope she can come to her senses sooner. Lin Feng could only hope that time could heal the wound and remove the invisible barrier between the two of them. Chapter 1208. There was nothing Lin Feng could do. He could only ask Demon Eye Emperor to protect Zhuazi Tong in the dark. Luckily, with Demon Eye Emperor's power, there wasn't much that could threaten her. Plus, the war was coming to an end, and the demon race and the human race were about to enter a long period of rest. Zhuazi Tong was safe for now. At this moment, whoosh. Lin Feng didn't need to turn around and know who it was. How is it, brotherly? I failed, senior brother Lin. Li Poji's voice came from behind. Failed. Lin Feng was slightly startled and instantly understood. Which tribulation? The second one. Li Poji smiled bitterly. Oh. Lin Feng was surprised. He knew Li Poji's power very well. Although there were some shortcuts to break through to the cosmic system state, there shouldn't be that much of a difference. There were 6 trials in the 3 trials, 3 lives path. The first trial was 1 life, the second trial was 2 lives, and the third trial was 3 lives. The second trial was also the third trial. Compared to senior brother Xin Yuan, it was much worse. Senior brother Xin Yuan had passed the 5th trial when he broke through to the fate state. However, Li Poji had only passed 2 trials as a cosmic system state. The trial is combat power, and the life is one's temperament. Both are indispensable. Li Poji said, our foundations are too shallow, and we still need to hone our combat power. My cosmic system state combat power is not worth mentioning. It's just the most ordinary power among the cosmic system states in the true Dragon Black realm. In the Milky Way, it's silver spiral elementary. Li Poji shrugged. Any random cosmic system state in the Milky Way is stronger than me. Silver spiral elementary. Lin Feng was surprised. Li Poji nodded. The combat power in the Milky Way is divided into 4 levels: silver spiral, silver disk, silver core, and silver heart. Each level is further divided into 4 levels: elementary, intermediate, advanced, and extreme. In the extreme cantilever, there are countless silver spiral beings, silver disk beings, and silver core beings standing at the top of the extreme cantilever. Lin Feng nodded. He knew a thing or two about the Milky Way galaxy. There were more than 100 empires, and each empire occupied a large number of star systems. They divided the Milky Way galaxy like feudal vassals. The 7 empires were located at the center of the Milky Way galaxy and had the rarest resources in the Milky Way galaxy, as well as the strongest energy of the Milky Way galaxy. The rest of the empires were on the 4 cantilevers. Of the 4 cantilevers, the extreme cantilevers had the most number of cantilevers, numbering as many as 77. The solar system where Earth was located belonged to the Black Wolf Gold Empire in the extreme cantilever. I mentioned before that if one's combat strength surpasses the first tribulation, one will be Silver Spin Elementary. If one surpasses the second tribulation, one will be Silver Spin Intermediate. If one surpasses the third tribulation, one will be Silver Spin Advanced. This way, I won't lose face for teacher's lineage. Senior brother Xin Yuan, who just finished his apprenticeship not long ago, is already a high-level silver spiral warrior. Li Poji said, but brother Xuanyuan's strongest point isn't his combat power, but his sacred power. He has a silver plate, mid-level sacred power, as soon as he reached the cosmic system state. He's deeply immersed in the Tao of true dragon, sacred power. Li Poji's tone was filled with admiration. Clearly, Li Poji already knew brother Xuanyuan's true identity. Lin Feng said, brother Xuanyuan's weakness should be his heart force. He was stuck in a last test for a long time and only succeeded after he reached the cosmic system state. Hearing Li Poji's words about brother Xuanyuan's strength, Lin Feng felt strange and shocked. Brother Xin Yuan had been cultivating in the Great Wall of Saint remains for more than 4,700 years. His combat power must be extraordinary. Although my combat power is stronger than Brother Li's, it's limited. If he was defeated by the second tribulation, I can only reach the third tribulation at most. Lin Feng judged in his heart. He was more confident in his heart force. Fortunately, he wasn't in a hurry. He could cultivate slowly and cross the 3 tribulations and 3 lives path. 34th Junior Brother. The sovereign true dragon lineage had a new junior brother. With the official opening of the Tower of Babel, there would be more and more martial artists in the sovereign true dragon lineage. In the past few years alone, there were as many as 6 martial artists who awakened the true dragon's sacred power. However, Lin Feng didn't plan on recommending them to his teacher's lineage for the time being. This was because every one of them needed to be closely monitored and their character evaluated before they could be sent to the Great Wall of Saint Remains. Furthermore, they weren't strong enough. Just awakening a talent soul wasn't enough to pass Chi's test. After reaching the perfect body, their combat power would reach a certain level and their character would be acceptable. Only then would he recommend them to join. 95. Lin Feng was full of praises. From the initial shock to now, it had turned into admiration. Xiao Yi was definitely an impeccable genius. As long as she was given the right conditions, she could create miracles. In just a few days, her mind expanse had increased from 85 to 95. It was breathtaking. If not for the 10,000 origin mustard rock, Wenjing would definitely be able to keep up with her progress. 9794. Lin Feng said softly. After entering the 10,000 origin mustard rock for 3 days, Sun Shengren and Wenjing's mind expanse increased differently. Sun Shengren caught up and was now at 97, very close to a 100 perfect body. On the other hand, Wenjing only increased by 7. It wasn't even as good as Xiao Yi. Wenjing is more outstanding than I imagined. Lin Feng praised her lightly. It was really good if she improved slowly. This meant that the strength of Wenjing's soul was outstanding. It was like 2 water tanks of different sizes. If water was poured in at the same speed, the bigger the tank, the slower it would be. If it was fast, it would take half a day. If it was slow, it would take 8 to 10 days. This was the judgment Lin Feng had given the 2 of them back then. The outcome was better than expected. Sun Shengren took 4 days to reach a 100 perfect body, while Wenjing took 9 days to reach it. As for Xiao Yi, although she had a ferocious start, her mind expanse increased slower the closer she got to 100. At 97, Xiao Yi stopped for 3 days. By the time she reached 98, the bet was over. Although that was the case, her performance left Lin Feng very satisfied. I lost. Xiao Yi bit her lower lip and clenched her fists. Her lips were even bleeding from a bite. You must accept defeat. Lin Feng smiled. Xiao Yi nodded indignantly. Lin Feng then threw her a token. On the front of the token were the words China engraved. It had a suffocating feeling as though Mount Tai was pressing down on her. On the back was a soaring golden dragon. Xiao Yi held the token in a daze and looked at Lin Feng in puzzlement. China medallion. Seeing it is equivalent to seeing me. Lin Feng's eyes lit up as he said firmly, You are a talent. I don't want to restrict you with rules and regulations, nor will I give you any position. I will only give you the best environment, the best research equipment, and the best research assistants. I will let you do whatever you want. If you want to cultivate, you can cultivate. If you want to research, you can research. In fact, Lin Feng pointed at the command token and smiled. The Huaxia order is valid for life. Even if you lie there and do nothing, it will guarantee you a lifetime of luxury. Xiaoyi was taken aback. She held the China medallion in her hand and found it heavy as her chest heaved rapidly. Lin Feng then turned around and left. Xiaoyi was a rare talent. If he used miscellaneous and superfluous things to restrain her, it would only wipe out her creativity. To do extraordinary things to extraordinary people. Chapter 1209. After the Great Extinction, Earth flourished. Normally speaking, the spiritual energy would decrease every year, but now, the spiritual energy density on Earth was increasing instead of decreasing. It had already exceeded the minor star level, and it was increasing at a stable rate every year. All of this was due to Xiao Yi, the technological genius that Lin Feng had spent a lot of effort to recruit. She had solved the energy efficiency of the cosmic energy conversion device. When Jing had spent 3 years to increase it from 0.3% to 0.5%, but Xiao Yi had only spent 3 days to increase it from 0.5% to 0.0001%. 3 days, the performance had doubled. On the 6th day, it had increased from 0.0001% to 0.0003%. 10 days later, 0.0003% had increased to 0.0001%. In Xiao Yi's words, this was the current limit unless the cosmic energy conversion device was dismantled and rebuilt. However, regardless of the technological conditions and materials, the current Earth couldn't keep up with the new conversion device. In terms of gene capsules, Xiao Yi didn't let Lin Feng down. She had successfully developed a brand new gene capsule. From 0 to 100 brain expanse, coupled with the cultivation of Gu Tianju's astral energy, it would take a few years to a few decades to succeed. As long as they cultivated according to a specific plan, the success rate was as high as excellent martial artists. They could basically complete the cultivation of 100 brain expanse and perfect body before the age of 18. Earth had officially entered a new chapter. Year 111 of the War Martial Era, which was also the year Lin Feng returned to Earth, was known as the first year of China. This year, Earth turned a new page. After Xiao Yi's brand new gene capsules were successfully developed, one warrior after another entered the perfect body stage at the end of the year. In the last month, gene capsules began to be manufactured in large quantities. By the end of the first year of China, Earth had produced a total of 32 star-level experts. This wasn't the end, but the beginning. In the first month of the second year of China, the number of star-level experts born exceeded the total number of the first year of China. In the second and third months, there was continuous growth. Many warriors who had experienced the Great Extinction completed their transformation and advanced from planetary to star level. The human bloodline was slowly evolving. In this year, the number of star-level experts born was close to 1,000. In China's 3 years, the number of star-grade experts had exceeded 10,000. Although Lin Feng had retained the European continent and the new European Union, the new European Union was no match for China. Indeed, many European Union warriors had reached perfect bodies, but they paled in comparison to China. In the blink of an eye, 5 years had passed since Lin Feng returned to Earth. By the 6th year of Huaxia, the entire Earth had been turned upside down and was overflowing with life. One could no longer see the devastation after the mass extinction. Although natural disasters occurred one after another, and Earth was still riddled with holes, on the verge of exploding at any moment, the powerful energy of the 5-star universe crystal still maintained the ecological balance of Earth. ZZZ above the elemental territory, there was a layer of pale, transparent light cover. This place was not affected by the weather all year round and maintained a constant temperature. When people raised their heads, they could see the sun during the day and the moon at night. However, they could not see the rain and snow or the raging storm. The area of the elemental territory had expanded by dozens of times and was almost half the size of China. Because of Lin Feng's existence and the development of technology, it had become the center of the Earth. Elemental City still remained. The experts of the Elemental Commerce Alliance and their families lived there. Dong dong. Numerous martial artists were kneeling in front of the giant golden statue at the center of the elemental territory. This was the statue of Huaxia's king, Lin Feng. Every martial artist was sincerely kneeling, thanking Huaxia's king, Lin Feng, for allowing them to live in peace and contentment without worry for food or clothing. Above the giant golden statue was an island called Heartsick Island. It was built by Wen Jing and named by Lin Feng. Chi, Chi, Chi. A short-haired girl was diligently practicing her sword. Her sword was like a swimming snake, creating many illusions. Beside her stood a beautiful red-clothed woman. Beside her was a round-headed little boy. Big sister is amazing. The round-headed little boy clapped. The short-haired girl revealed a bright smile. Her sword stopped, and she used the back of her hand to wipe away the sweat on her forehead. Do you want to learn? Nyamo? Yes. The round-headed little boy's eyes lit up. The red-clothed woman charmingly smiled. You're not allowed to secretly teach your little brother. Be careful of being punished by your father. My father wouldn't bear to punish me. The short-haired girl smiled brightly. She was Lin Feng and Xiaoling's daughter, Lin Xining. She was already 7.5 years old. You're so mischievous. The red-clothed woman smiled. From her smile, one could tell that she, Manzi, had lived a happy life for the past 5 years. She had even given birth to a child with Lin Feng 3 years ago. The round-headed little boy beside her was called Lin Niamo. He was born 2 years ago and looked very much like Lin Feng when he was young. Are you tired, Xining? You've already practiced for 6 hours. She Manzi gently said. I'm not tired. Lin Xining revealed a bright smile. My father said that if I choose this path, I can't be afraid of hardships or tiredness. I can't be half-hearted and give up halfway. I have to work hard and work hard. Xining wants to be like my father and become a hero. And you can definitely do it. She Manzi nodded. Milky Way galaxy, extreme spiral arm, so a light flashed by. It was a cosmic system level ship. Its speed had reached the limit of light speed in the original universe. Looking closely at the ship, it was shiny gold and had a noble and luxurious feeling. However, there was a huge black wolf head on both sides of the ship. It was frightening. The symbol of the Black Wolf Gold Empire. In this Black Wolf Gold Empire spaceship, there was a fair-skinned man wearing a suit and golden glasses. His slightly fluffy golden hair was slightly curled at the bottom, and his pair of blue eyes were shining brightly. He was holding a wine glass. There were more than 10 armored warriors in the ship. They were all cosmic system level. Some were controlling the ship, while others were sitting cross-legged and cultivating. Looking closely, they all had some injuries. Unlike the dark matter tunnel, one would encounter all sorts of dangers while flying in the original universe. Reporting to young leader, the coordinates show that we will reach the solar system in 7 days. The Jinlong warrior reported. The bespectacled man smiled and took a sip of wine. It's been 9 years. My little brother, are you still alive? Ha ha. He laughed wantonly, and the bespectacled man's eyes flashed. Solar system, Earth, a 9-star life planet. Soon, it will be our Jinlong races. He was the young leader of the Jinlong race, the elder brother of Professor Jinkong Jin Hao. 9.5 years ago, he was ordered by his father, Jin Dehua, to leave the original universe for Earth. Chapter 1210. Within the Great Wall of the Saint Ruins. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Lin Feng's eyes shone like a demon king of darkness. His 10 fingers were slightly bent, and a black spiral appeared at the center of his palms. It contained a shocking, devouring power. The darkness origin was unleashed, causing rumbling sounds. I finally succeeded. Lin Feng smiled. Of the 6 paths of darkness, the annihilation Tao, the 4-star profound meaning, hatred destroying spiral. This was what he had comprehended when he possessed the body of the Heaven Hatred Devil Clan back in the Nemo planet. That expert from the Heaven Hatred Devil Clan was most proficient in these 2 profound meanings of darkness. Together with the Heaven Hatred form, he had always been successful. One of them was the 3-star profound meaning of origin, triple evil shadow, while the other was the 4-star profound meaning of hatred annihilation spiral. Back on planet Nemo, he had only learned the triple evil shadows. He had not learned the hatred-destroying spiral. But today he had succeeded. Having a teacher's guidance is indeed different, Lin Feng sighed. Of course. Don't you know who taught you? Yuan's proud voice sounded in his mind. Lin Feng couldn't help but smile. Yes. It's all thanks to you. I haven't seen you in the past few years. On planet Nemo, he had called out Yuan several times, but there had been no response. It was only in the 5th year of the Chinese Empire that Yuan had appeared again. Please, I'm still in the womb. According to you humans, I'm an embryo. Of course I need a rest, Yuan said. Lin Feng smiled bitterly. That made sense. Although the 10,000 origin mustard stone life form was already in its most perfect form when it was born, it still needed 10,000 universe epochs to complete the 10,000 origin stone essence. Yuan was like being in a mother's womb. Naturally, she needed a rest. Besides, I didn't sleep much this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, it's not even 10 years. I just closed my eyes and yawned. Yuan seemed to be half awake, and her voice was hazy. Normally, sleeping takes at least 1,000 years, or even 10,000 years. Her voice became softer and softer. Lin Feng was stunned. Yuan, Yuan, hey Yuan, did you fall asleep again? Lin Feng tried calling her name. However, there was no response at all. As expected, I still have to rely on myself. Lin Feng sighed. He didn't know when Yuan would wake up this time. Judging from her performance last time, it would take her 10 years to snap her fingers and 100 years to take a nap. Her afternoon nap would take almost 1,000 years. I can't count on him for the time being. Lin Feng felt helpless. The Yuan had helped him a lot. Not only had it broadened his horizons and increased his experience, but it had also helped him clear his path and improve his strength. Because he clearly knew what was the most correct path to take in the future. Although Yuan had been awake for less than a year, this year was the year in which his strength had improved the fastest. It was comparable to the previous 4 years combined. For example, this 4-star profound intent hatred annihilation helix. Previously, he had thought that he could not cultivate it. After all, on the Nemo planet, a 4th-level Tao of origin could at most unleash the power of a 3-star profound meaning. However, that was not the case. A 4th-level Tao of origin could unleash the full power of a 4-star profound meaning. The key was in the origin star realm. After breaking through to the star system level, the origin star realm would transform, just like his Taiyu origin star realm. The light, darkness, and thunder origins would expand greatly, and pure origin energy would replace cosmic energy. Although it was the same 4th-level Tao of origin, the origins were different. Now, I should be able to pass the 3rd tribulation. Lin Feng stepped out of the meditation room. 3 tribulations, 3 lives path. Lin Feng prepared to try again. Beside him were Li Poji and his 2 junior brothers. Good luck, Brother Lin. Li Poji chuckled. 32nd senior brother will definitely be fine. The one who spoke was junior brother Wu Yu. He was ranked 35th and had joined after Li Poji. He was also the first Chinese martial artist to awaken the true dragon holy power after the heaven-reaching tower opened. Good luck, senior brother Lin. 37th junior sister Li Yining clenched her fists and cheered him on. After 5 years, when Lin Feng returned, the 6 Chinese martial artists who had awakened the true dragon holy power had already reached 100 perfect bodies. Many of them had reached star level rank 3 or even star level rank 4, which was quite impressive. Other than one of them who had a bad character and one who died on planet Nemo, the other 4 were recommended to become disciples of the true dragon monarch. The sect was quite lively now. Lin Feng smiled at the 3 of them and gave them a thumbs up before entering. He had passed the 3 tribulations and 3 lives path many times. Every time, he would fail at the 5th test, which was the 3rd tribulation. His combat strength was still lacking. In fact, if he used all his strength, he could pass the 3rd tribulation, but there was a rule that prohibited the use of star system level treasures. In other words, he had to pass it with his bare hands. This included the heaven hatred form. If the heaven hatred form was a bloodline talent, there would be no problem. However, his heaven hatred form originated from the heaven hatred demonic armor, so it was a different story. The 1st tribulation was successfully passed. The 2nd tribulation was also easily passed. Lin Feng held the sinful black saber and was invincible. In the past 5 years, although he did not deliberately cultivate the saber art and was immersed in the comprehension of the origin Tao, his saber heart still improved from level 6 beginner to level 6 peak. As for the level 7 saber heart of the cosmic system level, he did not have a teacher to guide him. It was not something that could be achieved overnight. Swoosh! Lin Feng arrived at the 3rd tribulation. A black shadow appeared in front of him with surging combat strength. The black shadow did not use any weapons or origin Tao. He only used the most basic close-range attack techniques. Even so, his combat strength had reached the peak of Silver Spiral. This was a benchmark, just like the benchmark of the Second Tribulation. Defeating him meant that one's combat strength had reached the peak of Silver Spiral. Boom! Boom! The fist wind was sharp like a ferocious tiger coming down the mountain. The seemingly ordinary fist technique had a kind of power that returned to the basics. No matter where he dodged, he could not avoid the sharp fist wind. Once he got into close combat, it was easy to fall into the opponent's rhythm. Lin Feng had fought with him many times and was too familiar with him. It was a fist technique and a power technique that was perfectly integrated with the body. There was no way to avoid it. Or rather, it was impossible for him to break it with his current cultivation level. Against this set of fist techniques, the best way to deal with it was to fight it head-on. If he faced it head-on, he would pass. Clang! Lin Feng's bloodline power erupted. Divine runes appeared, and the power of yin-yang body directly amplified the source of darkness. The Tai Nether origin astral world mobilized the heart of darkness energy. Lin Feng did not wield his saber, but at the moment when the black fist shadow attacked, his body split into three, and the three demonic shadows were perfectly displayed. The powerful source of darkness energy rumbled from three different directions. 4-star profound intent, helix of hatred. It's time to end this. The three helix darkness origin energy unleashed a powerful attack of the Annihilation Tao. Before the black shadow could hit his body, it instantly erupted with power and devoured him completely. Whoosh! The third tribulation passed perfectly. Chapter 12:11. The Path of Three Tribulations and Three Lives. For most martial artists, the Path of Three Lives was the most difficult because it was hard to improve and sharpen one's heart force. Tribulations were easy to pass, but heart demons were hard to get rid of. Ji Xinyuan was like this. He had passed the Path of Three Tribulations when he was a star level, but he was stuck in the last trial of the Path of Three Lives for a long time. But Lin Feng was not like that. For him, the real difficulty was the Path of Three Lives. It was just a journey of the heart. It was enough to close his eyes and enjoy all of this. The Path of Three Tribulations and Three Lives lit up with colorful lights, and a rainbow bridge appeared in the sky. Lin Feng stepped out with a smile and looked at Li Poji, Wu Yu, and Li Yining who were waiting for him. He nodded. It's your turn now. It's still early for me, 32nd senior brother. Wu Yu smiled bitterly. Of course, he's not talking about you. Li Yining wrinkled her nose at Wu Yu. He's talking to 34th senior brother. Li Poji shrugged. I only passed the second tribulation 3 years ago. The third tribulation will take me at least 8 to 10 years. I'm not as strong as Brother Lin. Senior Brother Xinyuan is the one who's really strong. Lin Feng said, he passed the Path of Three Tribulations when he was a star level. I barely passed it after 5 years of being a star level. I'm far from him. He had passed the Path of Three Tribulations himself, so he had a better understanding of Senior Brother Xuanyuan's strength. How terrifying was someone who could match a high-level Silver Spiral Master when he was a star level. Moreover, Senior Brother Xuanyuan's True Dragon Holy Power cultivation was even more terrifying. Senior Brother Xuanyuan's current strength is at least intermediate or even high-level Silver Disc. Lin Feng was not worried. Senior Brother Xinyuan should have no problem establishing himself in the Milky Way with such strength and the gift his teacher left for him. As for himself, his normal strength has reached the high level of Silver Spiral. If he uses his Heaven Hatred form, he can even take a place among the high-level Silver Spiral Masters. Lin Feng thought. Suddenly, Lin Feng, the sacred site shook. Lin Feng looked up. A majestic aura of majesty surged. It was none other than the guardian deity of the sacred remains. Qi, even though he rarely spoke, it didn't mean that he didn't exist and didn't know. Passing the Three Tribulations, Three Lives path meant that he had met the requirements to become a master. Not only would he be able to obtain his master's legacy, he would also be able to obtain a valuable gift for becoming a master. Yes, Senior Ji, Lin Feng said humbly. Come in. Yu's voice was long and steady, rich and deep. A path that crossed space suddenly appeared in front of him. Lin Feng was about to step on it when he suddenly felt a chill in his heart. His face suddenly changed as he raised his head. "I'm sorry, Senior G. This junior has an urgent matter to deal with. Please forgive me." Then, he left like a gust of wind. Li Poji and the other two were left in a daze, not knowing what had happened. Elemental Sea. This used to be the Pacific Ocean, the territory of a country. However, following the destruction of a country, the surroundings were completely submerged, becoming a boundless ocean. With the Bermuda Triangle as the center, Exion's Sea God's domain was occupied by the Elemental Business Alliance. Kading. Crack. The top of the Elemental Sea was hollow in the middle and suddenly opened horizontally. Lin Feng was like a divine soldier descending from the heavens. He rushed down and the top closed again. Perfect technological means. Under the Elemental Sea, there was an advanced technological system, a sci-fi city. Lin Feng landed on the ground. There was no seawater around the silver steel city. It was completely blocked. There were many humans coming and going, but there were even more robots. This was a giant technological city built by the Elemental Business Alliance. Elemental Sea City. The creator of Elemental Sea City was Dr. Jin, or Jin Kong. Song Jing was behind-the-scenes controller. One of the young masters of the Jinlong clan was now under Lin Feng's soul contract. Jin Song had no choice at all. Although his soul was very strong, Lin Feng was even more frightening. 5 years ago, when Elemental Sea City was being built, Lin Feng let Jin Song take control. Xiao Yi and Wen Jing learned from Jin Kong. Today, Elemental Sea City was quite large. The humans who live here were those who cultivated genetic energy and developed their soul talents with 100 brain regions. There weren't many of them. Until now, there were less than 10,000 of them. However, Lin Feng's plan was very clear. He didn't put all his eggs in one basket. Moving forward together, developing one more path wouldn't be bad for Earth. With Lin Feng's large amount of funds, the Elemental Business Alliance's manpower and material support, and most importantly, the large amount of universe crystal energy, Jin Song displayed his strength. He combined some of the Jinlong clan's technology with the Bermuda Triangle's advanced technology. In a short 5 years, he achieved great results. On Earth, the level of technology had already surpassed the strength of martial artists. However, Earth was still ruled by martial artists. After all, with the existence of a space garden, many martial artists entered Nemo Planet. There were many who reached star level 4, 5, and even 6. The talents of the third generation of humans were slowly being realized. Master, Professor Jean bowed respectfully. What exactly happened? Tell me everything in detail. Lin Feng's expression was serious as he spoke. Professor Jean nodded. Just now, I vaguely sensed something. It came from Big Brother Jean Hao. Frowning, Professor Jin's eyes flashed with white light. After that, I entered the Bermuda Triangle and sent out powerful electromagnetic waves to search for magnetic field fluctuations. What did you find? Lin Feng asked. Professor Jean pointed at the screen in front of him. The magnetic field fluctuations show that a spaceship is approaching us at the speed of light. It's estimated that it will arrive in the solar system in 7 days. If I'm not wrong, it should be Big Brother Jean Hao and his people from the Jinlong clan. Master, please forgive me. Professor Jean knelt on one knee with a tense expression. Get up, Lin Feng said in a low voice. After forming a soul contract with Professor Jean, he had already told him everything he had done. Even though the spatial guidance of the dark matter space had been cut off by him, the coordinates of Earth's universe had been exposed and known by the Jinlong clan. They could slowly fly over from the original universe. Didn't you say that there were very strong shadows of war and space turbulence outside the solar system? Lin Feng asked. Professor Jean said, these can all be removed and absorbed. All you need is an expensive space reset seed. Like I said before, the Jinlong clan might have spent a lot to buy a space reset seed for Earth. However, I didn't expect them to come so quickly. 9.5 years. In other words, The Jinlong clan didn't hesitate at all and made a decision. Will come. Lin Feng sighed. His worries from 5 years ago had become reality. Although miracle Holy King Qi Hao didn't appear, an even more powerful and terrifying enemy appeared 5 years later. The Jinlong clan from the Black Wolf Jin Empire. A true galactic civilization. To be continued. Chapter 12:12. How many people are coming, and how strong are they? Lin Feng asked in a deep voice. A spaceship, Dr. Jin said. But it's not a spaceship made by our Golden Dragon clan. It's a spaceship from the Black Wolf Jin Empire that can reach the speed of light. The standard configuration is 123 mode. The first is the leader, the chief commander. It's definitely Big Brother Jin Hao. There might also be a deputy commander here. The second is 2 small teams, each with 6 genetic soul warriors. They are divided into level 2 teams and level 3 teams. If it's a level 2 team, there will be 5 level 2 genetic soul warriors, and the captain will be a level 3 genetic soul warrior. If it's a level 3 team, there will be 5 level 3 genetic soul warriors, and the captain will be a level 4 genetic soul warrior. Lin Feng's heart trembled. The Milky Way galaxy was divided into 2 paths, technology and power. Among them, power was the silver whirlpool, silver plate, and silver core, with the origin star realm as its foundation. Technology was divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 types of energy. Each type of energy corresponded to a genetic soul warrior. Among them, level 3 genetic soul warriors used 3 types of energy, and their combat power was roughly equivalent to a high-level silver whirlpool. However, level 4 genetic soul warriors used 4 types of energy, which was equivalent to a basic silver plate. Will it be a level 2 team or a level 3 team? Lin Feng asked. There should be a team of each. Dr. Jin muttered. The level 2 team leader is responsible for controlling the spaceship, and the level 3 team is responsible for combat. Every genetic soul warrior was an outstanding technician with an outstanding innate soul. There would be a level 4 genetic soul warrior. Lin Feng's gaze deepened. Continue. Dr. Jin nodded. The level 3 teams are 3 genetic warrior squadrons. Each team has 10 genetic warriors, and the team leader is a level 4 genetic warrior. However, a level 4 genetic warrior of the same level is slightly inferior to a level 4 genetic soul warrior. Even 3 against 1 might not necessarily win. They're roughly equivalent to a peak silver whirlpool expert. Lin Feng lightly nodded. Silver whirlpool strength was divided into elementary, intermediate, high, and limit levels. Extreme silver whirlpool referred to martial artists who had cultivated to the extreme silver whirlpool but were unable to break through to the elementary silver plate level. In other words, Earth will have to face 3 ultimate silver spin powerhouses and 1 elementary silver plate powerhouse, Lin Feng said in a deep voice. No, it's 2 elementary silver plates, Professor Jin said. Jin Hao is also a level 4 genetic soul scholar. 7 days, there were only 7 days left. Very urgent. Prepare the Tinder plan, Lin Feng ordered. Yes, King of Huaxia. Huang Tian didn't show any fear. He was one of the few people who knew. 5 years later, his battle prowess had already reached the 6th order, and he was one of the top experts on Earth. However, he was still not qualified to fight against experts from star system level civilizations. Lin Feng had started preparing for Project Tinder 5 years ago. He had predicted that this day would come after he formed a soul contract with Dr. Jin. Just like the mass extinction back then, the Tinder plan could only preserve a small part of the Huaxia people. But the crisis could not be resolved. Now, I can only hope that they encountered danger while flying in the original universe and suffered damage to their battle prowess. Lin Feng thought to himself. Otherwise, his side wouldn't be a match for the 3 genetic warrior squadrons alone. 5 years later, although experts were everywhere on Earth, and 100 perfect bodies had become the standard, there were still not many true experts. There were only 3 people above the star system level. They were himself, Li Poji, and Lin Zhan. Not long after he returned, his brother, Lin Zhan, successfully reached a perfect body with 100 brain expanse. He triggered Olympia's Zeus temple and infused it with divine powers, activating the true heritage of Zeus temple and the 12 golden palaces. This was a sacred site that wasn't inferior to the Great Wall at all. Lin Zhan had obtained Leo's divine power and was reborn. His battle prowess had caught up, and he had tied with Li Poji half a year ago. I wonder how much Brother's strength has improved in the past half a year. Lin Feng's brows didn't relax because he knew very well that it was impossible to cause a qualitative change in just half a year. Lin Zhan's strength might improve to a level stronger than Li Poji's, but it was impossible for him to surpass him. With just the three of them, the chances of winning were probably less than 1 in 10,000. Lin Feng didn't inform his family about this matter, nor did he publicize it to prevent panic. He returned to the Great Wall alone to meet Qi. On the one hand, he wanted to complete his graduation ceremony. On the other hand, he hoped to obtain more information from Qi or find a solution. After crossing the sky passageway, he entered a world with a deep swamp. It was an incomparably huge golden dragon, circling and resting in the sky. Looking at him, Lin Feng felt his deep insignificance. He was afraid that him could blow his soul away with a single breath. Such a huge and powerful existence could only be him's true body. Below him was a huge crystal coffin that was filled with white clouds. It was hazy. Kneel. His voice sounded like it came from the horizon. Plop. Lin Feng knelt down with both knees, but it was from the bottom of his heart. He lowered his head and kowtowed to thank his teacher. A teacher for a day was a teacher for life. Without his teacher, he wouldn't have been able to reach where he was today. Perhaps Earth would have been destroyed long ago. It was because he joined his teacher's lineage that Earth welcomed changes and new life. Dong dong dong. Lin Feng was sincere. Above him, Qi's eyes shone brightly. Get up. His voice had a rare kindness. From his expression and tone, it could be seen that he was very satisfied. With Qi's strength, Lin Feng couldn't hide any secrets in front of him. He could tell whether Lin Feng was sincere or not. If Lin Feng was feigning civility, he wouldn't be merciful. At best, he would give Lin Feng a stern warning. At worst, he would expel Lin Feng from the sect. He had always accepted disciples on behalf of the true Dragon Sovereign. He would rather have nothing than have something substandard. Lin Feng got up. Suddenly, bang! A huge force came crashing down. Lin Feng widened his eyes, his heart beating violently. A huge golden dragon suddenly enlarged in front of him. It was like Qi that had shrunk 10,000 times. It rushed down from the sky with a loud rumble. That pair of bright dragon eyes emitted powerful vitality. Dragon horns, dragon scales, dragon claws, every part of it was vivid and lifelike. Lin Feng couldn't move at all. He was suffocating for an instant. Rumble. His chest felt like it was struck by lightning. His entire body was numb. But in an instant, a huge force spread out from his chest, spreading to his limbs and 5 meridians. It rushed straight to the top of his head. An incomparably vigorous force suddenly appeared in Realm C. The golden dragon overturned rivers and seas. It soared through the clouds, roaming in this huge Realm C. Golden light emitted from it. The entire Realm C seemed to be covered and controlled by this golden dragon. The power of Realm C was changing. This is... Lin Feng's chest rose and fell. His breathing was rapid. His body could finally move. Lin Feng looked down at his chest. A huge golden dragon appeared on his chest like a totem tattoo. It was vivid and lifelike. To be continued. Chapter 12-13. Essence of a True Dragon. Bai said, this is the key to transforming the Realm C and forming the Great Realm C. Opening the second aperture of the Heavenly Ho cultivation and transforming the Realm C to the cosmic system level. With the Milky Way's power level, opening the third aperture of the Heavenly Ho cultivation is the Silver Plate stage, and forming the Great Realm C is the Silver Core stage. With the essence of the True Dragon, you will be able to open the third aperture and transform the Great Realm C naturally. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. Thank you, Senior Bai. Wah! A golden light appeared in front of him. It was a golden ring. This is a storage ring that I refined using special materials. It can completely fuse with the body. Bai said, there's a complete set of cosmic system level armor, helmet, boots, and boundary artifacts left by Master for you. There's also a small sum of universe crystals that can be used throughout the universe. It is enough for you to gain a foothold in any solar system. There is something I need to tell you. Only when you reach the cosmic system level and complete the Master ceremony can you become Master's true disciple and pass on the true dragon race's sacred scriptures. Master cultivates both the soul of talent and the soul of earth, but the strongest is the soul of talent. He created the true dragon saint force and became the true dragon monarch. Thus, the strongest sacred scripture of Master's 9 sacred scriptures is the true dragon world scripture. The other 8 sacred scriptures are Master's attainments and comprehensions in the 8 paths of metal, wood, water, fire, earth, yang, lightning, and wind. Remember, do not spread it. Yes, Lin Feng replied. He was shocked. His teacher, the true dragon monarch, was really knowledgeable. 9 paths of cultivation. The further one progresses in the origin star realm, the harder it gets. Comprehending the universe's energy source is one of the ways to improve one's life level, increase one's mental strength, and expand the origin star realm. Perhaps this is the reason why teacher cultivates so widely, Lin Feng thought. If you can cross the cosmic system level and become a black hole expert one day, come and see me again, Bai said. After completing the Master ceremony, Bai's mission was complete. Naturally, he would not stay. Lin Feng quickly said, Senior Bai, please wait a moment. The huge dragon tail swung, and Bai's aura appeared again. What is it? Lin Feng said seriously, the cosmic system level civilization is about to arrive. I wonder if Senior Bai can help? No, Chung said indifferently. Lin Feng still wanted to say something, but Bai had already cut him off. My mission is to help Master complete his inheritance. Everything else has nothing to do with me. But since you've already finished your apprenticeship, I can make things easier for you. I'll allow your family to enter the sacred remains and guarantee their safety. Thank you, Senior. Lin Feng sighed in his heart. It was useless to reason with Shi Jiang because he was not a human being. Since he had refused, there was no need to talk about feelings. He treated senior brother Xin Yuan the same way, let alone Yi Futian. In the end, I can only rely on myself. Lin Feng turned and left. Suddenly, there are 15 people in total. Don't force yourself. A vigorous voice entered his ears. Lin Feng was startled and turned his head. The voice still lingered in his ears, but it had disappeared without a trace. Lin Feng was slightly stunned, but he immediately understood what skeleton meant. He bowed slightly and said, Thank you, Senior. 15 people. This was more than twice the number of people they had expected. There was hope. Lin Feng did not doubt Cheng's words. With his strength, he could destroy the Golden Dragon race team with a flick of his finger. If he said there were 15 people, then there must be 15. Clearly, as Professor Jean said, the Golden Dragon race team had encountered an attack or danger while flying in the original universe, resulting in deaths. 2/3 of them are dead. The danger they encountered was definitely not ordinary. The remaining 1/3 should have many injuries. Their true combat strength is probably only around 10 people. Lin Feng clenched his fists. There was a huge difference between 10 people and 43 people. The pressure on them would be much less, and there was still hope. Especially after he received his apprenticeship gift, his combat strength could still be improved. After notifying Li Poji, Lin Feng immediately headed to the Temple of Zeus. This ancient sacred site in Europe had been revitalized. 5 years ago, the new European Union was completely inferior to China, but now it had a certain amount of strength. Although there was still a gap between them and China, at least they had their own cultivation system. The sacred site was stimulated, and the power of Zeus descended. The Temple of Zeus was brand new. Not only were the 12 golden palaces lit up, but even the 24 silver saints and 48 bronze saints had awakened their strength. Every constellation had a reserve saint, and countless new people were working hard to become one of the reserve saints. Not bad. Lin Feng stepped into the range of the Temple of Zeus. The realm power could not penetrate the Temple of Zeus, but it could be sensed within its range. In just 5 years, the new European Union had developed rapidly. Basically, all the gold saints of the 12 golden palaces had reached level 7 of the stellar stage, comparable to Huang Tian. Most of the silver saints were between level 4 and 6 of the stellar stage. Although it was a systematic power, it was still quite impressive. Moreover, this kind of competition system could stimulate the fighting spirit. Level 8 of the stellar stage. Lin Feng looked at the Ares temple. It was where the previous pope, Lion, was. Level 7 of the stellar stage. Lin Feng's gaze swept across and sighed. There were quite a lot of Gemini and Sagittarius temples. Level 9 of the stellar stage. Even the usually weak Taurus temple had a level 9 of the stellar stage expert. Lin Feng looked at the Leo temple where Lin Zhan was at. Suddenly, his heart skipped a beat. He shifted his gaze and looked at the Virgin temple in shock. Sharjah is already at the cosmic system state, the god of the Twin Trees Garden. During the war martial era, he suppressed the true martial emperor and was once the #1 expert in the world. He was indifferent to fame and fortune and focused on cultivation. He had helped Lin Feng fend off external enemies many times. After the war martial era, despite the rise of China and the suppression of the new European Union, Sharjah never made a sound and only cultivated quietly. At that time, his mind expanse was as high as 96, and his strength was only second to Lin Feng, Li Poji, and Lin Zhan. He was one of the top 4 experts on Earth. To be able to be ranked #1 in the world during the war martial era, where the spirit chi was thin, Sharjah's aptitude and potential are not bad. Lin Feng said. However, what left the deepest impression on Lin Feng was Sharjah's heart. Sharjah's heart force was probably not any weaker than Lin Feng and Lin Zhan. It seemed unexpected that he could break through to the cosmic system state, but it was actually within expectations. We have another new force. Lin Feng nodded in satisfaction. They now had 4 cosmic system state experts on their side. Leo Temple. Roar. Lin Zhan, who was wearing the Leo Temple gold saint robe, attacked fiercely and ferociously. His battle intent was ferocious, and his combat power was limitless. When Lin Zhan saw Lin Feng, he was instantly elated. He attacked ferociously like a ferocious tiger coming down from the mountains. You came at the right time. Offing, come and practice with me. Bang! Lin Feng blocked him with one hand. Brother, I have something important to discuss with you. Oh. Lin Zhan's thick eyebrows relaxed. When he saw Lin Feng's serious expression, he also became serious. What happened? To be continued. 8. Chapter 12-14. Black Wolf Gold Empire, Golden Dragon Race. Lin Zhan's eyes widened. Yes, big brother. They will arrive in about 7 days, Lin Feng said seriously. There was a moment of silence. The news that Lin Feng brought was too shocking. Lin Zhan couldn't calm down for a long time. I understand. Lin Zhan's voice was low, and his eyes lit up. I will discuss with teacher Sharjah. I will meet you in 6 days. Okay, big brother. Lin Feng nodded. Time was tight. Lin Feng knew very well that a short 6 days couldn't change anything. What he could do now was to increase his battle power as much as possible. The key to this was the generous gift that teacher had prepared for him. In the training room, true dragon armor, true dragon helmet, true dragon boots. The armor had dragon patterns on it. The stars and moon shone brightly, and the golden dragon on it seemed to be flying. It was very lifelike. Lin Feng dripped a drop of blood, and the armor fit perfectly in the blink of an eye. Pa! Pa! The armor, helmet, and boots shrunk to the most suitable size. Lin Feng's heart moved, and the true dragon world power surged out. At this moment, the true dragon essence in front of his chest lit up. Lin Feng was shocked. So many. It was like a small stream turning into a small river. The true dragon essence caused the true dragon world power to explode. In an instant, the true dragon world power surged into the armor, helmet, and boots. The dragon patterns shone brightly, and the dragon's eyes shone brightly. True dragon armor, true dragon protection, true dragon helmet, true dragon spirit, true dragon boots, true dragon galloping. Every nebula-level treasure had its own special ability. At least one, and at most three. Lin Feng's eyes shone brightly, and he revealed a happy expression. The gift that teacher had prepared for him wasn't that simple. In addition to the special ability of each treasure, there was also a combination technique. True Dragon Golden Body. Eighth senior brother once used a unique skill. Lin Feng had heard Xianyuan's senior brother mention it before. These were all very powerful abilities, including the True Dragon's Protection, True Dragon's Spirit, and True Dragon's Gallop. None of them were simple. It was not necessarily a good thing to have too many special abilities. Sometimes a powerful ability only needed one. In 6 days, I should be able to barely master one of the abilities, Lin Feng said to himself. The True Dragon Spirit is used to protect spirits. It's the least useful. Lin Feng had a treasure like the 10,000 Origin Mustard Stone, so he naturally didn't need the True Dragon Spirit. In fact, the True Dragon Spirit was the most important of these 3 special abilities. True Dragon Protection is a defensive skill, while True Dragon Gallop is an auxiliary skill. Lin Feng was more inclined to cultivate the soaring True Dragon. Especially in a chaotic battle, the assistance of movement techniques was more important than defense. But before that, there was also a world artifact. A so-called world artifact referred to a weapon that used world power. Beep. Lin Feng didn't hesitate. Just like the 3 True Dragon equipment, the world artifact instantly fused with him. True Dragon Realm Yinbing. Lin Feng's eyes lit up when he thought of how to use the True Dragon Realm Yinbing. The first attack, I can use the world artifact skill, Hidden Dragon in Realm C. The second attack, I can use the world artifact skill, True Dragon Breaking the Sea. The third attack, World Ocean Time, I have the innate purple eyes. Whether it's cultivating or using it, I'll get twice the results with half the effort. Lin Feng glanced at the True Dragon's essence. While he still didn't know its true use, he could tell that it was extraordinary. While the success rate of cultivating the True Dragon Realm Yinbing is less than 30%, it'll be enough to change the situation once I master it. Lin Feng quickly came to a decision. True Dragon Gallop was good, but it didn't have the ability to change the situation unless he cultivated the True Dragon's Golden Body. But that was probably much more difficult than cultivating the True Dragon Realm Yinbing's first attack. Skyheart Crystal Coffin. Hua. Lin Feng waved his hand and opened it. Swoosh. A black light flashed through the void. Master. 5 years had passed, and Death Date's movements had become even more elusive. His attack speed was extremely fast, and his use of a dagger had reached perfection. He was a top-notch assassin, but Death Date still found it difficult to advance further in his cultivation. What's your current mental distance? Lin Feng asked. Just over 90,000. Death Date looked ashamed. He had been cultivating hard in the Crystal Coffin for 5 years, but the Origin Star realm was still stuck at the 3rd level. The difference between 90,000 mental distance and 100,000 mental distance seemed to be only 10,000, but it was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. That was because his bloodline had reached the limit of the stellar realm, and it was difficult for his life force to change much. His comprehension of the Great Path became increasingly difficult as he progressed, and the improvement of his mental cultivation was also very slow. The 10,000 mental distance would take at least a few years, a dozen years, or even a few centuries. And that was only because he had the Skyheart Crystal Coffin. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to break through even in a few 100,000 years, let alone a few decades. I can give you 100 Cosmos crystals, which can immediately expand your mental distance by 10,000 and reach the transformation requirement of the 4th level Origin Star realm. However, Lin Feng said, it's up to you whether you want to use it or not. Death Date opened his eyes wide and said in shock, what are Cosmos crystals? They can directly expand your mental distance. Cosmos crystals are the original composition of the universe. You can treat them as bricks to build a house. Lin Feng said, every one Cosmos crystal can expand your mental distance by 100. Cosmos crystals are the mainstream currency among star system level civilizations, and they are very valuable. Other than expanding mental distance, Cosmos crystals also had energy, refining, construction, and many other uses. Lin Feng received a small sum of Cosmos crystals as a gift for completing his apprenticeship. There are side effects. Death Date was a smart person. Lin Feng nodded. The origin star realm expanded by Cosmos crystals will be lost forever and won't belong to you anymore. Don't underestimate 10,000 mental distance. It occupies 10% of your current origin star realm. This means that no matter what level you upgrade your origin star realm to in the future, you will only have a 90% mental distance ratio. The current 10,000 mental distance will be converted to 100,000 mental distance when he reached the 4th level of the origin star realm. When he reached the 5th level of the origin star realm, it would be converted to 1 million mental distance. Death Date thought for a moment and said, "I'll use it." "I've thought it through," Lin Feng said. Death Date replied, "It's fine if it's 10% less. After breaking through to the cosmic system level, my combat power will increase tremendously. I believe that Master needs people now. I'll do my best." "Okay." Lin Feng tossed out 100 Cosmos crystals. Also, this is a 3-star universe crystal. It will be used when you break through to the cosmic system level and construct the origin star realm. I hope to see a brand new you in 6 days. "Yes, Master," Death Date replied. Death Date was different from other martial artists. His combat power and realm were sufficient, but his talent was limited. Although Earth had level 9-star realm experts, it was useless to forcefully upgrade them to the cosmic system level. Beginner Silver Spiral combat power was of no help at all. Once Death Date upgraded, he would at least have intermediate Silver Spiral combat power. If he was compatible with a cosmic system level weapon, he would be able to upgrade to advanced Silver Spiral combat power, which would allow him to fight against a Golden Dragon race genetic warrior. During these 6 days, Earth's experts were making their final push. At this time, the Golden Dragon race's spaceship was getting closer and closer to the solar system. To be continued. Chapter 12:15. Outside the solar system, there was a deep darkness. It was like a cave in hell. There wasn't the terrifying suction and pulling force of a black hole, but under the shadow of war, there was endless space turbulence. It would also tear apart spaceships and annihilate cosmic system states. The best way to dispel the shadow of war and remove the space turbulence was Space Reset Seed. Fire. The Jinlong race's spaceship fired, and a perfect seed shot out. It was like a pebble thrown into the ocean, disappearing without a trace. It didn't even cause a ripple. In the spaceship, the Golden Dragon race waited patiently. They had been flying for 9.5 years. If the Space Reset failed, it would be a heavy blow to them. Why is there no reaction yet? How can it be so fast? Let's wait a little longer. The Space Reset Seed won't be useless, right? I heard that the shadow of war is too strong, and the seed's effect will be greatly reduced. The Golden Dragon race members discussed, including Jean Hao. This was the first time they used a Space Reset Seed. This thing was very expensive. Don't worry. Jean Hao's eyes lit up. It will definitely be effective. Get ready for battle. On this trip to Earth, other than what Earth itself needs to give to the race, everything else, is ours. The Golden Dragon race warriors and spirit warriors' eyes lit up. They rubbed their palms, and their hearts raced. Bring some local specialties back. We might be able to make a fortune. Stupid. Earth is a 9-star life planet. There must be a lot of treasures on it. We will be rich if we just find a few. I want to see the difference between the women of Earth and the women of our Golden Dragon race. Suddenly, a bright light flashed in front, like a ray of light in the dark night. The entire space shook gently like an earthquake. With the shaking, the white light in the black shadow became brighter and brighter. The black shadow kept shrinking. It's here. Jean Hao's eyes lit up. It has finally begun. This is the first time I've seen dispelling the shadow of war. So it's this simple. Simple my ass. Do you know how many universe crystals a Space Reset Seed costs? This one consumed close to 1,000 years of our race's savings. No way. It was worth it. Jin Hao's eyes were deep. You can't trap a wolf without sacrificing a child. If you can get a 9-star life planet, a mere space reset seed is nothing. At the border of the solar system, Lin Feng, Lin Zhan, Li Poji, Sharjah, and Death Anniversary were waiting patiently. Although Earth had the geographical advantage, it was not of much use in a battle of such a level. What's more, the Earth couldn't withstand another round of destruction. Including Jin Hao, there are a total of 15 people, but their strength is unknown. Lin Feng sternly said, "Let's go according to the original plan. Brotherly, you deal with the genetic soul warriors. There's no need to tangle with the genetic warriors." Li Poji nodded. Golden light flashed on his head. He was wearing Lin Feng's Quantero crown. Now, that Lin Feng had a complete set of true dragon armor and a battle helmet. He didn't have much need for the Matero crown. "Big brother, Senior Sharjah, I will leave the genetic warriors to you," Lin Feng said. Wearing the gold saint robe bestowed by divine power was very different from ordinary gold saint robes. In the cultivation system of the Saint Seiya, the saint garment was divided into 3 grades: ordinary, blood refinement, and divine force. The divine force golden saint garment was at the cosmic system grade and had extremely strong physical defense. Together with the cultivation of combat power, the gold Saint Seiya was most suitable for close combat. Lin Feng nodded at Death Day. There was no need to say anything more about the soul contract. Death Day's function was very flexible. He could supplement wherever he needed. Moreover, his strength could only be maximized during assassination and sneak attacks. "I hope more of them are injured," Lin Zhan said. Even though it was 5 against 15 and the chances of winning were slim, he was fearless. Liu Lin Zhan was righteous and courageous. He moved forward without fear. Beside him, Sharjah closed his eyes. His whole body was enveloped in a holy aura. His long golden hair fluttered. He seemed to have no desires, but once he fought, his strength was not weak at all. "We are in the dark, and they are in the light. We may have a chance of winning." Li Poji had an extra sword. He took it from the Shiva temple and was compatible with the Wind Shiva. He had outstanding movement techniques and the Quantero crown. He could fight against the genetic soul warriors. But the key to this battle was Lin Feng, because only he could kill the level 4 genetic soul warrior, the young master of the golden dragon race, Jin Hao. The shadow of war has been dispelled. Lin Feng's eyes shone brightly. "Let's go." Without any superfluous words, the 5 people led by Lin Feng immediately moved. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Lin Feng's team moved forward slowly as the shadow of war shrank. They used the shadow of war to hide their aura. The first attack was very crucial. Lin Feng was well prepared this time. He had already started preparing 5 years ago. Level 4 laser atomic cannon. The defensive cannon from the Bermuda Triangle had been dismantled by Professor Jean. Even though there was a higher level 5 laser atomic cannon, this was already the limit of his control. Moreover, the Golden Dragon Race's spaceship was only a level 4. After all, there was a huge difference in energy between a level 4 and a level 5. Without entering the dark matter space, the speed of light in the original universe was the same. There was not much difference between a level 4 and a level 5 spaceship. "We only have one chance." Lin Feng was very clear. If he couldn't hit the opponent's spaceship the first time, it would be harder to hit the second time. After all, he was still a dabbler and couldn't perfectly control the level 4 laser atomic cannon. The shadow of war dispersed bit by bit. Lin Feng's team moved forward slowly. The air was frozen and suffocating. The darkness in front of them dispersed. Lin Feng instantly activated the level 4 laser atomic cannon. The resplendent light erupted before the shadow of war dispersed, instantly covering the entire universe. Rumble. The power of the level 4 laser atomic cannon was quite terrifying. "What?" The Golden Dragon Race members who were still celebrating in the spaceship changed their expressions. Along with the ear-piercing sound of the red alarm, Jin Hao's eyes changed. Sizzle. He controlled it with his consciousness as fast as lightning. He displayed his super strength as the young master of the Golden Dragon Race. While activating the spaceship's biggest defense system, he quickly teleported away. They had underestimated their enemy too much. They hadn't expected that there would be a killing move hidden in the shadow of war. Regardless of how outstanding Jean Hao's talent was, it was too late for him to dodge. Rumble. The side of the spaceship was hit. With a violent explosion, several genetic warriors on the side were injured. The defense system couldn't be activated to the maximum in an instant. The spaceship's construction was extremely meticulous. If it was damaged, it wouldn't be able to fly. Damn it! A furious roar resounded throughout the universe. Earthlings, you are courting death. To be continued. Chapter 12:16. On the spaceship, the Golden Dragon race's experts swarmed out. The ones at the front were the genetic warriors. They wore the standard armor of the Golden Dragon race and held laser energy swords in their hands. Their battle intent was astonishing. Genetic warriors usually had two cultivation paths. The most common one was to strengthen their genes and cultivate strength-based martial arts. The equipment on their bodies could be mass-produced using high technology. Lin Feng glanced around. The four-element atomic cannon had already been retracted. Purple light flashed in his hands. The leaders were 2 level 4 genetic warriors and 6 level 3 genetic warriors. Among them, the level 4 genetic warriors were weaker than silver plate experts of the same level. They were equivalent to the peak of silver spinning. As for the level 3 genetic warriors, their combat power was generally around the high level of silver spinning. Genetic warriors were formed quickly and required little effort. Their combat power relied more on external items. Their realm was generally lower. Lin Feng made the first move. Purple-eyed demon death knell. Instantly, a purple demonic light lit up the universe. Lin Feng's eyes turned into a transparent purple light. Demonic runes split open one after another. With the preemptive strike of the realm power, Lin Feng waved his hand, and the purple-eyed demon death knell descended. Purple-eyed suppression. Now, Lin Feng could already unleash a portion of the purple-eyed demon death knell's power. The purple-eyed demon death knell became several times bigger in the air and spun rapidly. The purple light turned into drops of meteors and fell down. The sound of the demonic bell reverberated. Bang! The purple-eyed demon death knell descended heavily. The demonic sound reverberated. The realm power covered the area and instantly trapped one of the level 4 genetic warriors. Currently, Lin Zhan was like a golden lion roaring. His cosmic system level combat power instantly erupted as he faced the other level 4 genetic warrior. Sharjah opened his eyes. Heaven-moving Buddha wheel. His lake blue eyes were crystal clear. He was like a Buddha sitting in the garden of 2 trees. The leaves danced in the wind. A huge Buddha wheel appeared in front of Sharjah's chest. The space around him changed. With his power alone, he trapped the remaining 6 level 3 genetic warriors. In the distance, laser beams shot out rapidly with a shio 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 sound. The Golden Dragon race naturally wouldn't sit still and wait for their deaths. Their genetic soul warriors were much stronger than the genetic warriors. Genetic warriors were only a cultivation path for genetic soul warriors who weren't talented enough. The truly talented members of the Golden Dragon race all cultivated the path of genetic soul warriors. Even if he couldn't control Realm Force, he could still use Realm Force weapons to attack. He could use his innate ability to control extremely complicated technological weapons, such as laser guns, laser cannons, and so on. Hua Divine runes appeared, and Lin Feng's eyes changed. The heaven-hating demon armor skeleton roared, and a black light flashed. The power of the devil blood was instantly activated. Facing the laser beams in front of him, Lin Feng did not dodge. Dang, 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 the heavens, spite demon armor blocked the level 3 and level for laser beams. While the Golden Dragon race members were stunned, Lin Feng dashed forward as fast as lightning. To stab, the Emperor Lin Feng's saber technique had already returned to its original state. It was a simple saber move, but it was much stronger than it had been 5 years ago. His saber heart, which was at the peak of the 6th level, had raised his saber move to a whole new level. Moreover, The transformation of the Source Star realm after reaching the cosmic system state also enhanced the power of this strike. He directly attacked the nearest genetic soul warrior. Lin Feng was not greedy. He was well aware of the current situation. This saber move definitely couldn't kill Jin Hao, but it could seriously injure or even kill a genetic soul warrior. Kill one, earn one. Bang! A dot of light appeared in front of him and suddenly exploded. Lin Feng grunted and was immediately forced back by the airflow. He thought to himself, powerful. A level 3 soul warrior is so strong. Even in a disadvantageous position, he could still forcibly survive. However, this was a move similar to mutual destruction. He was very close to Jin Hao just now, and he wasn't much better off. Moreover, he had already displayed the power of this saber move. As he retreated, Lin Feng glanced at the level 3 soul warrior. He had already vomited blood and fainted. They were injured to begin with. After fighting face to face, Lin Feng became more and more certain. Take care of one first. During the attack, just now, Lin Feng had already determined his target. The one at the back was Jin Hao. In front of him were 5 genetic soul warriors, one of whom was a level 4 soul warrior. Take care of one for left. Death Sun was helping Sharjah. Li Poji had also launched an attack, but he only attracted the attention of the level 3 soul warrior. Jin Hao floated in the air, his gloomy eyes sneering again and again. A few ants, he didn't need to take action. Boom! 2 beams of laser energy that were even more condensed and pure than before shot over. The 2 level 3 soul warriors were abnormally furious. Above them, the only level 4 soul warriors' eyes flashed with a white light, sinister and terrifying. Swish! Lin Feng's eyes flashed, and he pulled back to put some distance between them. The 2 level 3 soul warriors furiously attacked. The power of their technological weapons was not bad, but they were not flexible enough to break Lin Feng's heaven-hating demon armor. This made them even angrier. At this moment, bang! The air shook again and again. The level 4 soul warrior made his move. His realm weapon was a silver-black ring, incomparably sharp. It fiercely shot out and turned into 2 crescent moons in the air. In another instant, each crescent moon seemed to be cut into 10 pieces by a knife, from 2 to 20. They intersected and changed directions rapidly. The level 4 soul warrior carefully controlled them. I've been waiting for you, Lin Feng shouted. In an instant, his body was like a phantom overlapping. Suddenly, an enormous creature appeared in the air. It was like a giant star beast. Its appearance covered the entire starry sky. How? With a violent roar, the earth shook. This giant beast was wearing a sinister skeleton armor, covered in scales as hard as alloy. On its back, the image of a black tortoise could be vaguely seen. Its aura was extraordinary. The level 3 soul warrior was dumbfounded. Tyrannosaurus dragon, clone 5 years had passed. It wasn't just the humans on Earth who had improved. The Tyrannosaurus dragon clone, whose aptitude was even stronger than Lin Feng's, had improved at a godly speed. Although the energy needed to break through was terrifying, it had the 10,000 origin mustard stone and endless universe crystals. This was nothing at all. As early as a year ago, the Tyrannosaurus dragon clone had evolved from an ancient beast to a star beast. Star beasts were originally powerful because their cultivation was difficult. They were innately compatible with the energy of the universe. At the same level, they were stronger than humans and demons. The Tyrannosaurus dragon clone's strong body was even more terrifying. The level 2 Tyrannosaurus dragon clone's combat strength was comparable to the main body. And in terms of endurance, Lin Feng was far inferior to the Tyrannosaurus dragon clone. Black tortoise Big Dipper seal. The Tyrannosaurus dragon clone was like a war fortress. Chi. The Tyrannosaurus dragon clone waved its claws and roared. Its tail whipped out like a whip and went straight for the 3 soul warriors who had just attacked Lin Feng's main body. Whether it was its claws or its tail, the attack carried a tyrannical blade intent. The most terrifying thing wasn't its body. It was the soul of a human controlling its powerful body. Boom! Chapter 12:17. Whoosh! Jin Hao, who had been watching from the sidelines, suddenly changed his expression. His blue eyes were instantly filled with white light. He naturally wouldn't allow his subordinates to be killed by space beasts. As the young patriarch of the Golden Dragon race, Jin Hao was no ordinary person. Not only was he talented, but he also had a powerful realm weapon. White Longmu as a 4-elemental genetic soul warrior, Jin Hao's White Longmu could directly attack. His eyes sharpened, and he quickly locked onto the Tyrannosaurus before he attacked. His enormous body suddenly stopped, as if he had been petrified. With a sizzling sound, Jin Hao's eyes shone brightly. Dong! A soul-piercing bell rang. Jin Hao's body trembled, and by Longmu's light beam was cut off. A black shadow dashed out from the shadows of the universe. A blood-red weapon was burning in his hand, and a golden skeleton armor covered his body. A third eye split open on his forehead. Roar! Like an ugly and ferocious bone dragon, it descended with burning flames. Blood Shadow, Li Poji was pleasantly surprised. Lin Feng's expression didn't change. The Heaven Spite demon armor shone brightly, and a red light flashed in front of his chest. A dark demonic light poured out of his eyes. Instantly, a huge force spread from the bottom of his heart, and his body shook violently. Bang! 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 Lin Feng blocked the attacks of 3 genetic soul warriors, but he was unharmed. At this moment, the Tyrannosaurus clone's combat power erupted. Close combat was its forte. Its claws flashed past, and 2 level 3 genetic soul warriors were sent flying, vomiting blood. The level 4 genetic soul warrior blocked the tail whip. The Tyrannosaurus clone took advantage of the momentum to take a step forward. Ta! Its enormous body brought great power. The tail whip slashed through the air, and a clear blade heart force struck the 2 level 3 genetic soul warriors who had already been injured by the claws. One died immediately, and the other fainted from serious injuries. Despicable. Although the level 4 genetic soul warrior was caught unprepared, he still had the power to protect himself. A silver light flashed, turning into 3 rings of light that blasted toward the Tyrannosaurus clone. But in an instant, a terrifying force locked onto him. The level 4 genetic soul warrior turned around, and by Longmu's eyes shone. Clang! The black blade of sin condensed into a powerful force. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Lin Feng split into 3, and the 3 demonic shadows were immediately used. In a split second, the level 4 soul warrior was caught unprepared. Boom, boom, boom. The 3 blades exploded at the same time. The level 4 soul warrior let out an explosive shout, and his entire body blossomed with silver light. Although the defense of a level 4 genetic soul warrior was strong, Lin Feng's attack was not the least bit weak. Under normal circumstances, he would have high-level silver spiral combat strength. Once he activated the Heaven's Hatred state, his combat strength would reach low-level silver disc, enough to break through a defense. Despicable thing. The level 4 genetic soul warrior's complexion was unsightly, but he still managed to block the attack. But in the next moment, the enormous beast in front of him had already arrived, its claws tearing at him like lightning. No! His shrill voice carried the message of death. Lin Feng wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. His footsteps didn't stop. Although he had been injured in the battle just now, he didn't have time to waste. His side was still at a great disadvantage. As he retreated, he swept his gaze over the situation. Li Poji was evenly matched with the level 3 genetic soul warrior. Although his big brother Lin Zhan's combat strength wasn't bad, he could only barely defend against a level 4 genetic warrior. On the other hand, the combination of Sharja and Death Sun was actually able to hold their ground and not be defeated. One was defending and controlling, while the other was waiting for an opportunity to launch a sneak attack. Although this was their first time working together, their cooperation was flawless. And the most important thing was Jin Hao. Help Li Poji. Lin Feng only had one sentence. As his voice rang in Blood Shadow's ears, Lin Feng's saber had already slashed out, replacing Blood Shadow as he faced Jin Hao. He was very grateful for Blood Shadow's help this time. However, Blood Shadow wasn't Jin Hao's match. Emperor stabbing, strike Lin Feng's attack was relatively fast. Jin Hao snorted coldly. While attacking Blood Shadow, he didn't put Lin Feng in his eyes at all. But in the next second, shua, Lin Feng's figure split into three. His dark origin suddenly became sharp, with the Heaven's Hatred state increasing his absolute strength. Lin Feng's strength wasn't inferior to Jin Hao's. Like the convergence of a triangle, three spirals tore through space. 4-star profound intent, hatred-extinguishing spiral rumbling sounds rang out as an astonishing devouring power erupted. This move was even stronger than the Emperor stabbing strike that had killed the level 4 genetic soul warrior. But Jin Hao's strength was also more terrifying. BZZ. Powerful energy protected his body. Silver light blossomed. Jin Hao's lips curled into a cold smile. Although the 3 hatred-extinguishing spirals were desperately consuming powerful energy, they couldn't keep up with the speed of energy replenishment. He had plenty of treasures. On the other hand, Lin Feng was repelled by the rebounding force. Jin Hao raised his eyebrows. His disdainful expression was activated as his realm force weapon instantly appeared. A furious roar resounded in his ears as the attack of the Tyrant Dragon clone arrived. That terrifying power was even stronger than Lin Feng's hateful heaven form. Pa combining attack and defense, the Tyrant Dragon clone's powerful attack suppressed Jin Hao. Lin Feng didn't make a move. A golden true dragon totem treasure appeared in his hand. His realm force secretly condensed. Boom, 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 the fierce battle was in full swing. The Tyrant Dragon clone had a physical advantage, while Jin Hao had a level and equipment advantage. The attacks became more and more intense. Now's the time. Lin Feng took advantage of the opening. His realm sea churned. Endless realm force used the true dragon's origin in his chest as a medium and quickly emerged. A golden dragon roared into the sky. First attack, Realm Sea Hidden Dragon. The golden dragon flew out from the Realm Sea. Lin Feng's eyes were filled with purple light. The change in realm force caused the golden dragon to change as well. It was actually suffused with a faint purple color as it attacked Jin Hao. Innate skill, True Dragon's Purple Eyes. Chi. The golden dragon's power was boundless. Lin Feng had just taken control of the True Dragon realm's Yin Bing and was already quite powerful. Boom, 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 Jin Hao was caught off guard and was devoured by the golden dragon. He spat out blood, and his expression became even more ferocious. He retreated while whistling loudly. Lin Feng was startled and suddenly woke up. Go! All of you go! Lin Feng was practically shouting. A terrifying aura suddenly descended. Lin Feng had been suspicious since just now. Ho said there were 15 enemies, then there should be 15. But now there were only 14. Where did the last one go? It was impossible for him to have disappeared into thin air. Either he was dead, or he was still hiding and had yet to appear. Right now, this aura had already descended. Clang! A powerful force blocked Lin Feng's pursuit of Jin Hao. The person who came had a square face and looked ordinary, but in truth, he was not. He was Jin Hao's chief protector and the vice commander of this expedition to Earth. Han Mountain, a true level 4 genetic warrior. A level 4 genetic warrior might not be as powerful as a silver plate primary martial artist or a genetic soul scholar when they were at the same level, but that was only a probability, not a certainty. Clang! The giant hammer fell. Han Mountain was as still as a mountain, but it moved like a violent gust of wind. It blocked Lin Feng's attack directly, displaying its extraordinary mastery of the strength skill and the heart-hammering realm. A pair of cold eyes and a gigantic body stood tall and straight. Chapter 1218. Genius 1 Second Remember Online, providing you with interesting novels to read. It was not easy to defeat Jin Hao in a one-on-one battle. Now, there was another level 4 genetic warrior with a giant hammer. His chances of winning were slim. Lin Feng knew his opponent's strength as soon as they started fighting. This was a powerful warrior who was on par with Jin Hao, or even more powerful. He had an advantage against genetic soul warriors, but against a genetic warrior, Lin Feng stared at the man with the giant hammer. His chances of winning were less than 10%. With Jin Hao's help, he would definitely lose. Big Brother and Brotherly could handle a level 3 genetic warrior, but only he could fight against a level 4 genetic warrior. Han Mountain, kill him for me. Jin Hao glared at Lin Feng with rage. He was the young tribe leader of the Golden Dragon tribe. How could he bear to suffer such a huge loss when he just arrived on Earth? Lin Feng glanced at Jin Hao. Suddenly, sizzle, 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 the space trembled. Lin Feng's body suddenly blurred. Jin Hao's expression changed. The white light in his eyes shone brightly. At that moment, Han Shan's giant hammer rumbled, as if it was splitting the sky and earth. It almost teleported and smashed down heavily. Bang! Lin Feng's afterimage was shattered and scattered like water droplets. Not only did Lin Feng disappear, Li Poji, Lin Feng, son of death, and the others also disappeared. The only one who did not use this method to leave was Blood Shadow. He had already left when Lin Feng attacked Jin Hao. In the blink of an eye, everyone was gone. What's going on? Jin Hao roared. It's space technology, young tribe leader. Han Shan's expression was serious. Even the Black Wolf Gold Empire might not have such profound space technology. Jin Hao gritted his teeth. Are you saying that Earth has star system technology? Han Shan answered, I'm not sure. Han Shan looked around and said in a low voice, but we suffered great losses in this battle. The spaceship was also damaged. I think we should report this to the tribe leader and let the tribe make a decision. Jin Hao's eyes were filled with unwillingness, but he was not a stubborn person. He still nodded. He snorted angrily and returned to the spaceship. Earth, Elemental City. 5 figures appeared one after another. They were none other than Lin Feng and the others who had just fought with the Golden Dragon tribe. There were wounds all over his body. Even though the battle hadn't been going on for long, the intensity of the battle was beyond imagination. Among them, Sharjah and Death Day were the ones who suffered the heaviest injuries. It was 2 against 6, especially Sharjah, who was the controller. His face was pale. Even Lin Zhan's Divine Power Golden Saint Robe was slightly damaged. His left shoulder drooped down, and his flesh was badly mangled. The ones with the lightest injuries were Lin Feng and Li Poji, who were only slightly injured. Well done, Dr. Jean, Lin Feng said. Although Professor Jean was not strong, he was very useful. Without his support, the 5 of them would not have been able to retreat safely. Although the Bermuda Triangle space technology that he had cracked in the past 5 years required a huge amount of energy to use, it was worth it. Life was priceless, especially since there were very few powerhouses on Earth right now. One death meant one less powerhouse. This is what I should do. Professor Jean bowed slightly. What a pity. Li Poji sighed. Okay. Lin Feng nodded. They were so close to eliminating Jin Hao and the others without having to carry out the backup plan. Although they had successfully escaped, they had left behind a mess that would cause a lot of trouble in the future. Professor Jean said, Jin Hao is very cautious. He won't take risks easily. They suffered heavy casualties this time. Even if they don't wait for reinforcements, it will take them a while to recover. Most importantly, we destroyed their spaceship. Lin Feng and the others were overjoyed. The destruction of a spaceship could buy them some time. If they used the spaceship to fly at light speed, they could arrive in 1 or 2 days. But without the spaceship, even if the powerhouses of the Golden Dragon tribe knew the location of Earth, it would still take them about 10 days to arrive. I wonder if they destroyed the Universal Communication and Life Radar, Lin Feng said. Without the Universal Communication, they couldn't contact the Golden Dragon tribe. Without the Life Radar, they couldn't find the location of Earth. In a spaceship, besides the crystal core and the power source, the Universal Communication and Life Radar were very important parts. Xiaoyi is monitoring them in real time. She will report to me as soon as there is any movement, Professor Jean said. Lin Feng glanced around. Separated by a tempered, demagnetized glass, Xiaoyi was staring at the screen in the research room of the elemental region. She was giving orders to the other researchers. Those who could enter the elemental region were all geniuses with a brain expanse of 100. This place would be the origin of Earth's technology. How many people are left in the Golden Dragon tribe? Lin Feng asked. Jin Hao's injuries aren't light, but he has no problem healing. His guard, Han Mountain, is very strong and not easy to deal with. Professor Jean could clearly see the battle through Lin Feng. He naturally recognized Han Mountain. The only real threat is the two of them. Two genetic soul warriors were killed by Master. The other two have lost their ability to fight. There's only one three-element genetic soul warrior left. I'm sorry, Li Poji said apologetically. He was in charge of the three-element genetic soul warrior. You've done very well, Brother Li, Lin Feng said with a smile. The 8 genetic warriors didn't suffer many injuries. One was killed by Death Anniversary, and one was severely injured by Sharjah. The other genetic warriors are full of energy. Their combat power isn't damaged, Professor Jean said. I've done my best. MHM, Lin Feng nodded. In other words, there were still the strongest Jin Hao and Han Mountain, 1 genetic soul warrior, and 6 genetic warriors. 9, Li Poji said. Li Poji said, 5 against 15, and you managed to kill 6 of them and escape unscathed. You've won the battle beautifully. That's right. Lin Zhan laughed heartily. I hope they'll find Earth a little later. In a few months, our strength will increase by another level. What if they find us soon? Sharjah, who had been silent all this while, spoke. His crystal-clear eyes didn't become hazy because of his injuries. His willpower was very strong. We'll fight them to the death. Lin Zhan's eyes were filled with determination. Sharjah looked at Lin Feng. There's no special way. Lin Feng shook his head. It's as you said. As long as our strength increases, we won't have to be afraid of Jin Hao and the others. We've been able to survive before. This time, we'll definitely be able to resolve the crisis. Lin Feng revealed a smile to the crowd. He was the leader. He had to boost everyone's morale and influence them. There is a big difference between doing something with confidence and without confidence. Even so, Lin Feng was actually very nervous. It wasn't because of Jin Hao and Han Mountain, but because Earth's coordinates had been exposed. Although the Golden Dragon race couldn't enter the dark matter tunnel without anyone's guidance, they could still enter from the original universe. 9.5 years. It wasn't a long time for a star system state. We can only take one step at a time. Lin Feng thought. The first thing he had to do now wasn't to avoid Jin Hao's team. Even if they didn't look for Earth, he had to kill them as soon as possible. Otherwise, if they led the Golden Dragon race into the dark matter tunnel, it would be troublesome. To be continued. 8. Chapter 1219. The Border of the Solar System. Jin Hao was busy in the spaceship alone. Beside him was the only genetic soul warrior who was not seriously injured. Although he lived like a prince, Jin Hao's ability was not bad. Repairing the spaceship was not a problem for him. Ding ding dong, there seemed to be pairs of invisible hands in the air. Jin Hao used his innate talent, White Eye, and it was extremely precise. Every part was not even off by 0.001 millimeters. Damn Earthlings. Do they think I can't find Earth just because they destroyed the life radar? Too naive. They left so quickly because they were afraid and guilty. Jin Hao's actions were clean and neat. He could even multitask. The damaged outer shell of the spaceship was being rebuilt bit by bit. The alloy was melted, solidified, and refined. Every step was perfect. Beside him were genetic warriors who were soaking in gene fluid to recover their strength. In this battle, they had completely lost. Not only did they suffer great losses, but they were also beaten up from head to toe. In the end, they did not even touch the enemy's hair. It could be said that they lost so badly that they even lost their pants. Soon done. Jin Hao clapped his hands, but his face turned pale. He was already injured by Lin Feng. Now, he even used up his innate talent to cultivate the life radar. He was very weak. Jin Hao gritted his teeth. He was not an ordinary person since he could become the young tribe leader. He endured the pain and activated the life radar. The life radar quickly lit up and let out a pleasant sound. Han Shan, who was sitting cross-legged behind Jin Hao, opened his eyes and stood up. In an instant, Han Shan's eyes brightened. A 6-star life planet. Jin Hao sneered. It's very close to us. There's only one life form in the star system. Should we attack? Han Shan asked. No need. Jin Hao said, It's also good for us if we take it down. If we sell Earth to the Black Wolf Gene Empire, we'll be selling the solar system as well. We won't be able to get anything from another 6-star life planet. Besides, in front of 9-star life planet, a mere 6-star life planet is nothing. Han Shan nodded. The life radar was like a life form. It emitted magnetic waves to detect the life forms on the planets. The detection speed was naturally faster if it was close, but it was slower if it was far away. Fortunately, the solar system was not big. Found it. Jean Hao's eyes widened and there was a fire in them. At that moment, the life radar shone brightly and let out a joyful cry because it had found a rare 9-star life planet. Han Mountain, Jean Hao growled. Young tribe leader, please give your orders. Han Shan wrapped his fist in his palm. I order you to attack Earth alone. You must take it down. Jean Hao shouted. Han Mountain accepts your orders. His voice was forceful, and before it could even shake the air, Han Mountain had already disappeared. Jean Hao squinted his eyes, and a bright light suddenly shot out from the slits of his eyes. Let him explore the way first. Earth may be more troublesome than expected. If he succeeds, of course, it'll be good. If he doesn't succeed, the spaceship will have been repaired by then, and he'll guide Father to send more strong people over. Be careful, be careful. To be able to become the young master of the Golden Dragon race, Jean Hao did things flawlessly. Earth. There was no nervousness on the eve of a great battle. Battles that happened at the borders of the solar system were rarely known. Lin Zhan and Sharjah returned to Zeus Temple. Even though the Elemental Sea City had outstanding technology that could help martial artists recover their combat strength quickly, Lin Zhan and Sharjah were guardians of the Leo and Virgo zodiacs. The Guardian Zodiacs was their home. With the baptism of Zeus' divine power, they would soon return to their peak. Brother Lin, what's your plan? Li Poji asked. I don't know either. We have to wait for the enemy to take action before we can decide what to do. Lin Feng frowned. He glanced at the transparent tempered glass. Xiao Yi and Professor Jean were discussing. They didn't look so good. Yin Bing from the True Dragon Realm. Lin Feng pursed his lips. The realm weapon that his teacher gave him was very powerful. Even though it was only the first attack, the power of the hidden dragon in the realm sea was already quite impressive. If he attacked Jean Hao when he was a silver plate elite who had opened his third chakra, then he wouldn't have to worry so much now. Soon, the tempered glass door opened, and Professor Jean walked out with a serious expression. Speak. Lin Feng forced himself to calm down. Even if it was bad news, he would deal with it as it came. From the beginning to the end, he had never thought of running away. One good news and one bad news, Professor Jean said. The bad news, Lin Feng said. Professor Jean said, according to the detection, the strong warriors of the Golden Dragon race have already left for Earth. How long will it take? Lin Feng asked. With his current speed, he'll arrive in 94 hours, Professor Jean said. Lin Feng was stunned. That's the good news, Professor Jean said. Only Han Mountain will go to Earth. We'll be under less pressure. Lin Feng frowned. He thought about it, and soon understood what the Golden Dragon race was up to. As expected of the young master of the Golden Dragon tribe, he can attack and defend at will. Lin Feng thought. Without the spaceship, it wouldn't be easy for the Golden Dragon race to go to Earth on their own. If all the elites went together, they would be dragged down by the slowest genetic elites. But there was only Han Mountain at the moment. Their combat powers seemed to be greatly reduced, but they could save at least 3 or 4 times the time. They wouldn't give Earth any time to breathe. Besides, even if Han Mountain failed, Jean Hao could still leave quickly. At that time, he only needed to guide the strong warriors of the Golden Dragon race from outside the solar system to enter the dark matter dimension. Jean Hao himself didn't need to take any big risks. 94 hours, less than 4 days, Li Poji mumbled. His head was spinning. He couldn't think of any other way. The previous battle had gathered the strongest forces of Earth and used all their trump cards, but in the end, they were still defeated by Han Mountain alone. This was the importance of strong. Master, do we need to carry out Plan C? Professor Jean asked. Plan C was to escape in the worst-case scenario. They would preserve their strength and wait for a chance in the future. Not yet. Lin Feng paused and said, but be prepared. If you don't see me in 3 days, carry out plan, see immediately. Yes, master, Professor Jean answered. Lin Feng's eyes flashed. He was ready. He had personally experienced how strong Han Mountain was. It was impossible for them to win in a one-on-one battle. If he couldn't, the other elites on Earth couldn't either. So even if Han Mountain was the only one from the Golden Dragon race, it was enough to flatten Earth. He had no other choice. Brother Lin, what are you doing? Li Poji didn't understand. I'm taking the last step. Lin Feng turned around and stepped forward. Either we die, or we protect Earth. His voice was sonorous. Lin Feng's back was firm and persistent. He was not afraid of death. To be continued. Chapter 1220. Ancient Greece, Zeus Temple. It had a long history like the Great Wall of the Saint Relic. After countless years of inheritance, it still stood tall. The simple and unadorned stone pillars emitted an exquisite radiance, displaying a power akin to the might of the heavens. Beneath the Temple of Zeus, the 12 golden steps spiraled, firmly guarding this sacred site, eternally unchanging. Lin Feng stepped into this area. He looked up at the divine runes on the stone pillars. Mysterious power filled every corner of the Zeus Temple. This was the cultivation holy land of the European Union's powerful beings. 94 hours was very short. Lin Feng couldn't think of any other way to improve his strength in such a short time. It would be the same even if he entered the strongest galactic civilization in the true Dragon Dark region. But there was hope here. Ancient Divine Realm. Although he had only stayed in the Ancient Divine Realm for 24 hours and encountered endless dangers, he had gained a lot. After coming out of the Ancient Divine Realm, his strength had increased greatly and led Earth to successfully survive the calamity. After a flash, Lin Feng stepped into the Ares Temple. This was the last step he could take. It was either he died or protect Earth. Ares Temple. It was an unfathomable sea of stars. Stepping in the boundless universe, it was as if there was a transparent surface under his feet. He floated in the void. Broken meteorites and shooting stars could be seen everywhere. Senior Lion. Lin Feng stared straight ahead with a profound expression. In the depths of the boundless space, a handsome man with long purple hair walked out slowly. The Ares gold saint garment wrapped around his body, and the horns that looked like they were made of pure gold shone brightly. Pope Leon. His aura was slightly weaker than Lin Zhan and Sharjah. The gold saint garment also lacked the surging power. There was a huge difference between the star state and the galactic state. King of Huaxia, your presence brings light to the Ares Temple, Leon said with a smile. Senior, you're too polite, Lin Feng said. To be honest, I came to the Ares Temple this time because I hope that you can send me back to the Ancient Divine Realm to train and increase my strength. It has been 13 years. Leon sighed. Yes, it's been 13 years. Lin Feng smiled. When he entered the Ancient Divine Domain, he was only 19 years old. In the blink of an eye, 13 years had passed. There were clear rules for entering the primordial divine domain. Every 10 years, the Pope would only allow one cultivator to enter. Are there any spots left? Lin Feng asked. Leon nodded. Yes, as I reached the star state, the power of the temple I can activate also increased. Not only is the time taken to return to the past doubled, but the time cog can also be lengthened. Lin Feng was slightly taken aback. Suddenly, his eyes lit up. That means I can stay for 48 hours. The last time he entered the primordial divine domain, he only had a mandatory 24 hours. Yes, Ares Leon said, but at the same time, the next time you enter the ancient divine domain, it will be much longer. How long? Lin Feng asked. Leon said, more than 20 years, and it depends on how many years ago you returned to. I don't know, Lin Feng said. He didn't understand the time gear that Leon had mentioned before. Ares Leon laughed. Don't tell me King Huaxia still doesn't know where the ancient divine domain is? Lin Feng was taken aback. He should know where the ancient divine domain was. Thoughts flashed across his mind quickly, and Lin Feng shuddered when he remembered how many years ago Leon had mentioned. Earth. Ares Leon nodded. To be precise, it's the original Earth. No wonder. Lin Feng suddenly understood. No wonder the ancient divine domain was so powerful, and no wonder he could sense the true dragon saint power. It turned out that he was on Earth, but the Earth back then was different from the Earth now. Back then, I could only help you return to the Earth 1 billion years ago. Now, I should be able to help you return to the Earth 5 billion years ago. Ares Leon's golden horns shone brightly. But which time period you return to is up to you. What's the difference? Lin Feng asked. The grade of life on Earth is different, and the density of spirit energy is different. Ares Leon said, when Earth was born, it was a 9-star life planet. But as life forms were born, they would absorb the life force and essence of the life forms. The stronger the life forms, the faster the absorption. When the king of Huaxiao returned to the Earth 1 billion years ago, the grade of life forms was 6-star premium. And the Earth 5 billion years ago, the grade of life forms was 6-star premium. 6-star premium, 6-star premium, 6-star premium. Lin Feng looked at Lion, and the latter continued, habitable planets are divided into 1 to 9 stars, and each star is further divided into 6 levels according to the size of the planet, specifications, the difficulty of nurturing life seeds, and so on. They are further divided into ordinary, fine, rare, top, perfect, and legendary. Lin Feng nodded. Every planet was different. There were as many planets in the universe as sand and stones, and it was difficult to distinguish between 1 to 9 stars. The grade of life forms on Earth did not decrease by much even with a difference of 500 million years. Lin Feng said. However, from 1 billion years ago to the present, the grade of life forms had decreased the most from 6-star premium to 2-star. Leon nodded. Because during that period, there were not many powerful life forms. It was only when the second generation of humans was born 1 billion years ago that the grade of life forms on Earth began to decrease rapidly. Lin Feng nodded. Earth was like a huge piece of soil, and the vegetation absorbed nutrients here. When there were more and more plants, the nutrients in the soil would gradually become insufficient. I choose 5 billion years ago. Lin Feng did not hesitate. The higher the density of spiritual energy, the faster his strength would increase. A 6-star life planet was equivalent to Nemo planet when it was just born, and it was truly overflowing with spiritual energy. It was a treasured land that could give birth to dark matter life forms. Similarly, for a 6-star life planet, the higher the grade, the stronger the spiritual energy, and the higher the possibility of birth. Dark matter experts. They were existences that could cause an earthquake in the Milky Way with a stomp of their feet. All right, Ares Leon nodded. Shall we begin now? Lin Feng was just about to nod when he suddenly had a flash of inspiration. Senior Leon, I would like to ask if the stronger you are, the longer the time it takes for me to return to the primitive Earth, and the longer the time it takes for me to return to the primitive Earth, yes. Ares Leon nodded. Lin Feng asked again. Only you can do it in the 12 palaces. No, Ares Leon said. This is not exclusive to the Ares Palace. To be precise, it is the authority of the Pope. As expected, Lin Feng said in a deep voice, I have an unexpected request. I hope Senior Lion doesn't mind. Please speak, King of Huaxia, Ares Leon said. Very quickly, Lin Feng told him everything. Leon and the rest had the authority to know. Furthermore, he had a good relationship with Leon, Sharjah, and the other gold saints of the 12 palaces. They had fought side by side before. Leon pondered for a long time. Suddenly, he raised his head, his golden horns shining brightly. I promise you. Chapter 12:21. Genius 1 Second Remember Network, providing you with interesting novels to read. I will take over the Pope's position. Lin Zhan was a little stunned. There were rules for taking over the position of Pope in the Temple of Zeus. Firstly, he would choose from the 12 gold saints. Secondly, he would look at his age and experience. Thirdly, he would look at his strength. Lin Zhan was indeed the strongest among the 12 gold saints. However, his age and experience were not enough. Yes, Ares Leon smiled and said, logically speaking, even if I give up my position, Sharjah will be the one to take over the Pope's position. However, Sharjah is too injured. I'm afraid it will be difficult for him to move the gears of time. Although your experience is shallow, your character is outstanding. You even received the inheritance of the temple and activated Zeus's godly power. You have contributed a lot to the temple. You deserve to take over the Pope's position. Lin Zhan was a little flattered. To the 12 gold saints, taking over the Pope's position was a great honor. Take over, big brother. Now is not the time to be wishy-washy, Lin Feng said. Lin Zhan pondered for a long time. Suddenly, his gaze turned cold. All right, then I will take over the Pope's position. Lin Feng and Leon looked at each other and smiled. The handing over of the Pope's position required a grand ceremony. On top of that, he had to be recognized by the temple. Although the 12 gold saints were not all convinced by Lin Zhan, with Aries Leon and Virgo Sharjah supporting him, it was not a big deal. Moreover, Lin Zhan did contribute a lot to the Temple of Zeus. Although it was not a normal succession of the Pope's position, he had a good reason to do so. What's more, his strength was undeniably the most powerful. It should be about time. Lin Feng stood on the stone pillar outside the temple and waited patiently. He was not a gold saint and did not have the right to enter to observe. Seeing that the time was decreasing, he became anxious. Just the ceremony alone would take 6 hours. After that, he would be recognized by the temple and learn the rules of the temple, the Pope's power, and so on. It would take about 12 hours. Suddenly, whoosh, the power of the temple descended. Lin Feng looked over. Clouds and thunder fell from the sky. The entire temple of Zeus was filled with majestic and astonishing power of thunder and lightning. The image of Zeus vaguely appeared, and its power was terrifying. The Aries palace's divine power disappeared and was replaced by the Leo constellation's divine power. Pathy adorned the Golden Lion Palace. Done. Lin Feng revealed a satisfied smile. 76 hours left. Lin Zhan's Temple of God Legacy was faster than expected. He came out in less than 12 hours. Although he had succeeded the Pope's position, his power level had not changed much. Lin Zhan could still use a portion of the temple's power in Zeus' temple. How is it, big brother? Lin Feng asked. They were both Pope constellations, but Lin Zhan and Aries constellation line had a huge difference in strength. They were one level higher. This was the reason why he had suggested for Lin Zhan to become the Pope. If I push it with all my might, I can push the third section of the time gear. Lin Zhan said, you can return to Earth 2 billion years ago and stay there for 72 hours. However, you won't be able to enter again for 100 years. 2 billion years ago, 72 hours. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. He had done more than lion. No problem. Lin Feng did not hesitate. 72 hours was just right. He could make use of the remaining 76 hours. 2 billion years ago, I tried to sense it, Lin Zhan said seriously. At that time, the primitive Earth was a 7-star life form. It was more than 10 times more dangerous than 1. 5 billion years ago, 7-star life, planet level, 2 chaos hole immortal that could give birth to a black hole expert. This was a milestone in the path of cultivation. When one's strength reached the level of a chaos hole immortal, one's body would be immortal, and one would be able to resist the tearing force of a black hole. One could enter and exit a black hole freely. This is it. Lin Feng's battle intent surged. At the border of the solar system, in a short 18 hours, the spaceship was almost completely repaired. Especially the outer shell of the spaceship, it was almost brand new. Although Jin Hao was alone, his ability was outstanding. Young master, the level 4 genetic warrior Jin Xiong said. Speak. Jin Hao did not even turn his head. Jin Xiong said, I have something I don't understand. Jin Xiong had grown up with Jin Hao since he was young. They were the closest, and he was loyal to Jin Hao. It's about Han Mountain, Jin Hao said as he practiced the universal communication. Jin Xiong said, there are people stronger than Han Mountain in our race. Why did you choose Han Mountain, who has such a complicated background? Jin Hao smiled coldly. Of course you don't understand. Earth is a 9-star life planet, and the area beyond the solar system is filled with the shadow of war. There are too many possibilities and too many unknown factors. Choosing Han Mountain is the same as buying insurance for yourself. Oh, Jin Xiong mumbled with a frown. He still did not understand. Don't worry. Han Mountain is a member of the Golden Dragon race. He will naturally prioritize the interests of his race. He will not betray his family, Jin Hao said. Yes, young master, Jin Xiong answered. At that moment, in Zhu's temple on earth. Are you ready? Lin Zhan asked. We can begin, brother. Lin Feng stood upright with a calm expression. His eyes shone brightly. He was a little nervous, but there was more anticipation and a sense of responsibility. At that moment, he was not only shouldering himself, but also millions of Huaxia humans. Okay, Lin Zhan pointed. In an instant, a golden light shone brightly, and a powerful force exploded from the Leo constellation Golden Saint robe. The world spun. Lin Feng's head exploded, and he was instantly swallowed by the powerful force. It was as if his soul had traveled to outer space. The time tunnel he flew through was distorted, and Lin Feng's consciousness gradually recovered from shock. Whoosh, Lin Feng's consciousness suddenly became clear. Lin Feng's body felt incomparably heavy, and a pungent smell of burnt flesh permeated the air. Abruptly, a cold and terrifying gaze shot towards him. Lin Feng was startled, and he instinctively turned his head to look. Divine inscriptions appeared on his body. There was a gigantic monster in the distance. It looked as if it was as big as the sky. Its dark purple eyes were at least 3 meters in diameter, and there were 7 spiral horns on its head. There was 1 long horn and 6 short horns, and each horn contained terrifying lightning energy. The cold, bone-chilling gaze made Lin Feng unable to move. It was a powerful demon. A terrifying demon aura spread, and the entire ground shook violently. Soil and rocks collapsed, and scorched earth could be seen everywhere. The blue-black scales of this 7-horned monster also emitted a burning smell. Under the scales was a rough and strong body, and it was more than 10 times bigger than the T-Rex clone. In front of it, Lin Feng was like a child who had just learned how to walk. Coldness and killing intent could be seen from its eyes. Oh no! Lin Feng's expression was extremely unsightly. This was the Earth from 2 billion years ago, but every time they were teleported, they would be randomly teleported, which was very dangerous. For example now, facing this space beast in front of him, he didn't even have the possibility to escape. Chapter 1222. At this moment, boom, thunder rumbled in the sky as if it was the end of the world. Lin Feng looked up and saw the terrifying thunder and lightning colliding with each other, creating a powerful magnetic field. The space shook, and the sound of explosions rose and fell one after another. It was as if electric dragons were entwined, making people shudder. In terms of the Tao of origin, it was at least a level 6 or even level 7 cultivation. It was far stronger than him. What a terrifying thunder and lightning. Lin Feng was secretly shocked. The last time he entered the primitive Earth 1 billion years ago, the extremely bad weather and living environment were still fresh in his memory. But compared to this, it paled in comparison to the Great One. The terrifying energy contained in the furious thunder could shatter him with a single blow. It can't be that powerful. Lin Feng was full of doubts. Although Earth was a 7-star life form and could produce chaotic whole immortal powerhouses, it shouldn't be so powerful just from a thundercloud. No matter what, he was still a nebula-grade powerhouse. There was no reason why he couldn't even survive. While he was thinking clang, thunder as thick as 10 trees blasted down, and the power of the heavens appeared, making Lin Feng suffocate. But in the next moment, the 7-horned space beast roared, and its iron hooves as thick as castles stomped on the ground, causing the earth and rocks to crack. The 7 horns condensed a thunderbolt that wasn't inferior to the thunder and directly collided with it. Boom! Like 2 meteors colliding, the light rays shone brightly. The descending heavenly lightning shattered the 7-horned galactic beast's lightning radiance and landed directly on its scales. It penetrated its defenses and shattered its scales. Its flesh was badly mutilated, and the smell of burnt flesh filled the air again. Howl! What a terrifying thunder, Lin Feng murmured. The seven-horned space beast let out a tearing roar, and the pain was heart-wrenching. Surging demonic aura filled the surroundings, causing sand and stones to fly. This is... Lin Feng's eyes widened. Demonic aura? It's not a space beast. Lin Feng shuddered. Space beasts walked the path of the body, the most orthodox path of the demon god. Only heaven demons that walked the path of transformation would have demonic aura. Sky demons could take human form, and their cultivation methods were very similar to humans. There were 4 stages in the cosmic system level, which were the heart refinement stage, chi refinement stage, reverting stage, and returning stage. In the reverting stage, one could transform into a cosmic beast, and in the returning stage, one could control at will. However, even if he could transform and increase his strength, there was still a gap between him and a real astral behemoth. However, the path of heavenly demon transformation had its own advantages. When the sky demon reaches the peak of the true realm, the heaven stage will descend again. Lin Feng remembered very clearly that the path of transforming into a heaven-defying being wasn't easy to walk. There would be heavenly tribulations at the star grade, and it was the same at the nebula grade. However, there was only one nebula grade heavenly tribulation. If one could survive it, they would be reborn and officially cross over to the cosmic system state. This divine tribulation was called Demon Annihilation Tribulation. Less than 1 in 100 Demon Clan experts could survive the Demon Annihilation Tribulation. Tiny wisps of origin source energy were absorbed into his body. Lin Feng's eyes instantly widened. The peaceful nether origin astral plane was shaking continuously. That was the Thunder Heart, which was the weakest between the light heart and the dark heart. Lin Feng's thunder aptitude wasn't strong. It could even be said to be mediocre and inferior to many experts on Earth. However, by chance, he helped Xiao Yun resist the lightning tribulation and absorbed the purest thunder energy. Not only did it increase his body's ability to sense and absorb thunder energy, but also merged with the light and dark paths to form the Tai Yu Holy Qi. One was innate, and the other was acquired. As his bloodline awakened again and again, the light and darkness body and the divine runes appeared. Lin Feng's light and dark aptitudes became stronger and stronger. However, his thunder aptitude only increased slowly by relying on the increase of his life level. Although he comprehended 6 origin Daos and had a 10,000 times perfect origin heart like the light heart and dark heart, he only had the form. The 10,000 times perfect origin heart was given by the origin astral plane. If he absorbed it by himself, the Thunder Heart in the Taiyu origin astral plane wouldn't be able to reach the limit. Every grand Tao of lightning was only at the most basic level of quintessence cultivation. It was far inferior to the great Tao of light, not to mention the great Tao of darkness, which had the highest cultivation level. If the Heart of Origin was compared to a piece of, or the dark heart in the Taiyu origin astral plane was the essence of the ore that was perfect and shining. The light heart was an extremely pure ore, while the thunder heart was a crude or that hadn't been refined at all. Pung 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 with a buzzing sound in his head. Lin Feng felt that his thunder heart was like a candle that had been lit. It lit up in an instant, and thunderous roars appeared in his mind. He was immersed in the thunder origin ocean. The difference was that the comprehension of the origin Tao was directly imbued. Lightning. So this is true lightning. Lin Feng muttered lightly. In an instant, he'd already understood the true essence of lightning, especially the Tao of cloud lightning. It was even clearer, direct, and deeply ingrained in his heart. Cloud thunder Tao, level 2 cultivation, level almost at the same time. The thunder heart lit up like a firework, flashing once more. The Tao of thunder explosion, the Tao of lightning, and the Tao of magnetism had all reached the second level. The thunder heart was excited, and streams of origin energy were released. His body seemed to be paralyzed by the strong thunder energy, but soon he felt incomparably comfortable. The feeling in his surroundings became even more refined and clear. Strands of thunder origin energy floated around him. Lin Feng absorbed them once more. He was completely immersed in this wonderful feeling. At this time, he completely understood that the remaining thunder origin energy around him came from the tribulation lightning. The seven-horned lightning beast was undergoing its demon annihilation tribulation. At this time, the seven-horned lightning beast didn't have the time to pay attention to Lin Feng. The demon annihilation tribulation was extremely terrifying. The seven-horned lightning beast was also heavily injured. It had to hurry up and recover. Even a second was precious. It wanted to survive. Swish! Lin Feng's eyes lit up. In a short instant, his cloud thunder Dao reached level 3. The other 5 great Daos of thunder also rapidly increased their cultivation level. His body's ability to sense the thunder origin energy also rapidly increased. Even if it was just a tiny bit of remnant thunder origin energy, it was still incomparably precious. That was the demon annihilation tribulation, the highest level of thunder energy in the star system realm. In terms of origin energy, it was level 7 thunder origin energy. Even if it was only a trace of it, it was too powerful. Moreover, if Lin Feng really absorbed this highest level of thunder energy, he wouldn't be able to withstand it. His body would have exploded and died long ago. Boom! The demon annihilation tribulation struck again. This time, not only was the cloud thunder more powerful, it was also twice as thick as the previous one. The seven-horned lightning beast roared hysterically. It madly resisted while roaring. Despite using all its strength, it was still struck until blood flowed out. It fell to the ground with a loud bang. It was very difficult to pass the demon annihilation tribulation. Woo! Heavily injured, the seven-horned lightning beast's blood flowed all over the ground. Its pair of deep purple eyes no longer had any spirit. It was on its last breath. To be continued. Chapter 1220. Demon Annihilation Tribulation. Chapter 1223. Lin Feng raised his head and looked at the dark sky, filled with thunder and lightning. He knew very well that the Demon Annihilation Tribulation was not over yet. Lin Feng's gaze once again fell on the seven-horned lightning beast that was on the verge of death. It definitely could not withstand another thundercloud. Its eyes were dim and filled with despair. Lin Feng hesitated for a moment, wondering if he should try to form a soul contract with it. But in the end, he gave up. The danger was too great. He was not afraid of the backlash, but once the soul contract was formed, the Demon Annihilation Tribulation was likely to be transferred to him, just like Xiao Yun that day. He continued to absorb. He seized the time to absorb the thunder and lightning energy. This time, the remaining thunder source energy was more and stronger. Because the heptagonal lightning monster only consumed a part of it, the remaining thunder cloud energy was naturally more. Buzz. The powerful energy paralyzed his body and made him unable to move. Lin Feng's heart trembled, and he instantly used his realm power to protect himself. In a short moment, his body returned to normal, bringing a strong sense of comfort. Lin Feng jumped back. The most important thing was safety. There was no need to be greedy and lead to danger. The thunder energy of the monster annihilation tribulation was not a joke. Even a seven-horned thunder monster at the peak of the returning stage was severely injured. Buzz, 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 the thunder cloud energy gathered again, and it was even stronger than before. Lin Feng looked at the seven-horned lightning monster that was in complete despair. He had no sympathy for it. This was nature, the most primitive survival of the fittest. The law of nature. Boom! A huge thunder cloud comparable to 100 big trees came crashing down. Lin Feng had already avoided it to avoid being caught in the crossfire. Sure enough, when the thunder cloud descended, it blasted the seven-horned lightning monster into smithereens. The consumption of the thunder cloud's origin energy was not great, and it immediately spread out in all directions. Crack! Crack! The earth was swallowed by the thunder cloud energy and collapsed. With the heptagonal lightning monster as the center, the entire area was filled with extremely terrifying thunder cloud energy. It was like a spread-out area of fierce beasts. Once one entered, they would be directly torn to death. Lin Feng floated in the air in the distance. Witnessing the death of a demon clan member that was comparable to humanity's top galactic powerhouses was a mix of emotions. This was the primitive Earth. 2 billion years ago, the real primitive Earth. Hiss, although he had many feelings, Lin Feng didn't let go of this great opportunity. Even in the Milky Way, there might not be such a great opportunity to absorb the energy of the demon annihilation tribulation. Gradually approaching from the outside and absorbing bit by bit, Lin Feng's strength increased with every second. Danger is often accompanied by opportunity. The way of electromagnetism, level 3 the way of thunder, level 3 the way of lightning, threefold Lin Feng's great Tao of thunder reached the third stage. The great Tao of cloud and thunder improved the fastest. This was because the demon-annihilating tribulation unleashed the power of the Tao of cloud and thunder. It was the most orthodox great Tao of thunder origin. Darkheart's growth had never been so fast before. Like a sponge constantly absorbing water, the purity of the energy gradually caught up to the light core. Lin Feng tightly pursed his lips, feeling that the true essence of the path of cloud and thunder was becoming more and more deeply imprinted in his mind. In an instant, he was enlightened. Tao of clouds and thunder. Level 4, it had reached the limit of what the origin star realm could endure. Lin Feng was still improving. Although the origin star realm couldn't reach the 5th stage of cultivation, it didn't mean that it couldn't be mastered. It was like a primary school student forcibly absorbing the knowledge of a secondary school student. They could still know, but they couldn't really use it. The energy of the cloud and thunder gradually dissipated. Even if Lin Feng didn't do anything, it would disperse on its own and merge with heaven and earth. And Lin Feng's absorption accelerated the process. During this process, Lin Feng benefited greatly. He had reached all 4 stages of thunder origin cultivation. Not only that, but Lin Feng's body, bones, skin, and cells had also improved greatly. Even his life level and the origin star realm's perception distance were affected. The energy he absorbed from the demon-annihilating tribulation this time had improved him greatly. My Tao of clouds and thunder cultivation can reach the 5th stage. Lin Feng was very clear. As long as his Tai Nether origin star realm expanded to the 5th stage, his Tao of clouds and thunder would directly break through the barrier and enter the 5th stage. As for his other thunder origin cultivation, although it couldn't compare to the Tao of clouds and thunder, it was still at its peak. It was already on par with the darkness origin. Perhaps his thunder aptitude still couldn't compare to the light and darkness origin. After all, he had the light and darkness body's enhancement. However, it was much easier for him to comprehend the profound meaning than before. The most important thing was that all 4 levels of cultivation had greatly increased his life level. The origin star realm's perception distance had increased greatly. Okay, Lin Feng floated in midair and landed on the huge pit below. He activated his realm power and instantly lifted the 7 spiral thunder horns of different sizes into the air. Although the 7-horned thunder beast had been struck until nothing was left, the 7 spiral thunder horns were preserved. These 7 horns should be the most precious material of the 7-horned thunder beast, Lin Feng thought to himself. He could faintly feel the essence of thunder energy contained within, but he couldn't use it now. He also didn't have the time to figure out how to use it. After storing it in the storage ring that Ho gave him, Lin Feng heaved a sigh of relief. It was a false alarm. He had almost died just now. If the 7-horned thunder beast hadn't happened to be going through its tribulation, it would have been easy for it to tear him apart with its strength. The life level here was now 7 stars. There would definitely be a lot of star system level monsters. The 72 hours were dangerous and crucial. It's only been 5 hours. Lin Feng felt as if a lifetime had passed. Every hour here was unbearable. Every minute felt like a year. Every second could be fatal. However, great risks often brought great rewards. Lin Feng slowly explored the outside. Earth 2 billion years ago was very mysterious. Everything was in a barbaric state. However, it was in such a state that there were all kinds of heavenly materials and earthly treasures that could improve one's strength by leaps and bounds. This was Lin Feng's goal. If Han Mountain and Jean Hao hadn't threatened him, he might have chosen to take it step by step. However, he had to take the risk now. Either he would die here, or the hundreds of millions of Huaxia people on Earth would die in the hands of the Jinlong race. I'll definitely find it. Lin Feng clenched his fist. If he didn't succeed, he would die trying. This was a completely unfamiliar environment. The natural disasters were even more terrifying than the last time he came. The only difference was that he could withstand them now. No matter what, he was already a star system level powerful warrior. Whoosh, Lin Feng released his realm force. He was secretly on guard. He was in a huge valley. The sky was dark, and thunder was roaring. He released his realm force. He hadn't found any other life forms so far, but he had a feeling that a storm was coming. According to the laws of nature, there is a king in every region. This valley should be the territory of the seven-horned thunder beast. Otherwise, the seven-horned thunder beast wouldn't have been so brazen as to go through its tribulation here. Suddenly, Lin Feng's body trembled. The realm force he released felt as if it had been hit by a heavy hammer. Lin Feng's pupils instantly dilated. Chapter 1224. It was a demonic elite. Lin Feng's expression changed. It was the demonic chi unique to the demonic race that could hit his realm power. The demonic elite was at least at the chi refinement level, which was equivalent to the silver plate level of humans. Let's go. Lin Feng did not hesitate. With his strength, the chances of him winning against a chi refinement level demonic elite were slim. Moreover, he was not here for battle. If he could avoid a battle, it would be best to do so. But it's catching up. Lin Feng knew that things were not looking good. The demonic race was more in tune with the world than humans. The demonic chi was a powerful force between the human realm power and Saint Chi, allowing the demonic race to unleash more power. The demonic elite's aura had locked onto him. It was very fast. I can't run. Lin Feng immediately judged the situation. He might be able to run for a while, but he would be caught eventually. During this time, he might run into other demonic elites. By then, he would have to fight 2 or even 3 at once. His chances would be even slimmer, so he might as well fight now. Whoosh! Purple light flashed in Lin Feng's eyes. The True Dragon Realm Yin Bing in his hand shone. The True Dragon Realm Yin Bing burst through the True Dragon's vitality. Although Lin Feng's realm power was only at the silver spiral level, the power of his attack was comparable to that of a silver plate elite. Hidden Dragon of the Realm Sea Roar. A golden dragon flew out. Its claws were sharp, and it went straight for a huge, silver-armored monster that was coming from afar. Its size was bigger than the Tyrannosaurus clone, but it was still a far cry from the seven-horned thunderbolt monster. A pair of bloodthirsty eyes stared viciously at Lin Feng. The earth shook violently. The hidden dragon of the realm sea's attack went straight for the silver-armored monster's huge head. The silver-armored monster lowered its head, and a shining silver diamond-shaped mark appeared in front of its head. Clang! There was a heavy impact. The silver-armored monster was pushed back by the hidden dragon of the realm sea's powerful attack. It roared in anger, but it was not injured. Lin Feng's heart skipped a beat. He could clearly feel that the silver-armored monster's power was not weakened. Instead, it was strengthened by its anger. Earth monster. Lin Feng felt troubled. Such monsters were naturally good at defense and had strong bodies, such as his Tyrannosaurus clone. Rumble Lin Feng's feet trembled continuously as streams of hidden power gushed out from the depths of the earth. Instantly, the heaven-hating demon armor lit up and the black evil saber appeared. A purple light flashed in his hand as he threw out. Hateful form thump, the silver-armored beast roared as it rushed over. The earth around it rumbled as an extremely powerful earth energy condensed in the entire area, forming a resonance. At this time, the purple demonic light in the sky pressed down like Mount Tai, instantly becoming huge. Purple eye suppression, the silver-armored monster roared. A shining silver diamond-shaped mark appeared on its back, and it suddenly jumped. Pung, the purple-eyed demonic death bell, trembled violently as it was sent flying by the silver-armored beast. Lin Feng's blade had already descended at this moment. It was precisely the assassin Emperor's blade that had greatly increased in power. It was fast and decisive as it went straight for the silver-armored beast's weakest neck. Be it humans or monsters, this was their weakness. A bright silver mark appeared on his neck. Although Lin Feng's strike was powerful, it was as if he had struck an indestructible fortress. The tremor in the web between his thumb and forefinger made Lin Feng's saber almost fly out of his hand. Roar! The silver-armored beast became even angrier as the earth trembled. The explosive power of its huge body was astonishing. After knocking away the purple-eyed demonic death bell, it fiercely charged towards Lin Feng, who had already lost his balance. Its counterattack was exceptionally sharp. However, it collided with an afterimage. The silver-armored beast was extremely stunned. 3 demonic shadows Lin Feng was precisely waiting for this opening. The other 2 demonic shadows appeared in a split second, one above and one below. The tips of the 10 fingers on both hands were slightly bent, and an intense black spiral appeared at the center of their palms. It displayed a devouring power, and an ear-splitting rumble sounded. 4-star profound meaning. Hatred extinguishing spiral hua. The diamond-shaped mark appeared on its back again, where Lin Feng's attack was. However, even if it could block one, it cannot block 2. As expected, it can only be used in one place at the same time. One of Lin Feng's demonic shadows suddenly disappeared, and the other demonic shadow attacked in an instant. The black spiral was like a drill that directly drilled into the silver-armored beast's weak waist. Fresh blood splattered everywhere. However, in the next instant, Lin Feng's expression changed. The silver-armored beast's wound was like a bottomless pit, displaying an astonishing suction power, wanting to eat his hand. At this moment, its tearing roar did not sound like it was in pain, but more like excitement. Damn! Lin Feng immediately reacted, but it was already too late. Clearly, this was the silver-armored beast's innate ability. The diamond-shaped silver mark just now was like a profound intent. The demonic beast could also comprehend profound intents. Being able to possess demonic chi meant that it already possessed intelligence not inferior to humans. Comprehending profound intents was naturally not a problem. The demonic beasts were already very compatible with one or even many types of energy in the universe. What to do? Countless methods appeared in Lin Feng's mind, but they disappeared in an instant. Attacking again would not do him any good. The silver-armored beast's body was like a swamp, and he would only sink deeper and deeper. Lin Feng's true essence condensed in his chest, and a large amount of true dragon world power surged out to help him escape. However, the silver-armored beast's suction power was still strong, and they were in a stalemate. Its own strength was too strong. There's demonic chi. It's clearly a demonic beast on the path of transformation. Why did it choose to fight in its true form? This question mark appeared in Lin Feng's mind. He could not figure it out, including the 7-horned lightning beast that went through the demonic annihilation tribulation. Until its death, it did not reveal its demonic beast form. Could it be? They are not true heavenly demons. Lin Feng thought. After all, this was the Earth from 2 billion years ago. Everything was different from the Earth now. What was present now might not have been present 2 billion years ago, and vice versa. The path of transformation was very likely a cultivation method created by the demonic beasts later on. The demonic beasts here mostly followed the rules of nature and grew according to the will of heaven. After all, the current Earth was a 7-star life form. Even the astral beasts were different from 2 billion years later. The higher the life form's level, the stronger the life soul it produces. Even if they don't walk the path of transformation, the astral beasts can still produce demonic chi. A glint flashed across Lin Feng's eyes. He didn't see much emotion in the eyes of the 7-horned lightning beast and this silver-armored beast. There was only killing, anger, and other emotions that normal beasts had. Their intelligence might not be very high. Their strength was more due to the good environment, not their natural talent or high intelligence. Let's give it a try. Lin Feng instantly took out the largest horn of the 7-horned lightning beast. The origin of thunder poured in, causing the spiral lightning to emit a strong aura. Howl! The silver-armored beast turned from a fierce tiger into a kitten in an instant. Its roar turned into a moan. Its huge body trembled nonstop, and it actually crawled down like a kitten. The suction power disappeared directly. Lin Feng was overjoyed and quickly pulled out his left hand. It was just as he had expected. Chapter 1225. Take its life while it's down. Naturally, Lin Feng would not show mercy. The law of nature was the law of the jungle. In this valley, the seven-horned lightning monster was fully deserving of the title of king. With its unique aura, the spiral lightning horn naturally made the other monsters not dare to resist, even if it meant death. It was too easy to kill a trembling, silver-armored beast. Lin Feng heavily injured it in a few moves. Killing it was easy, but it still had many uses. Almost there, Lin Feng's eyes lit up. Purple eyes of the true dragon Lin Feng did not plan to waste his soul power and directly devoured the spirit soul of the silver-armored beast. Although it had the power of a nebula, the demon god's spirit souls were weak, and this place was no exception. Heavily injured and under pressure, Lin Feng only spent a little effort to refine and devour it. His talent soul was far stronger than the silver-armored beast. 6 hours later, Lin Feng let out a long sigh. Although it consumed a bit of soul power, it was worth it. After refining and devouring this silver-armored beast, he had a clear and intuitive understanding of the surrounding area. Just as he guessed, the king of this place was the seven-horned lightning beast. All the monsters that could potentially pose a threat to it had been completely killed by it. Other than it, the strongest were a group of Qi refinement stage monsters, including the silver-armored beast he killed. This place was like a kingdom. The king had supreme power, and the rest of the people could only listen to his orders. Even if he wanted them to die, they would not dare to resist. Well done. Lin Feng smiled. The seven-horned lightning beast had gone through many bloody massacres to establish its position as the king of this area. Those who refused to obey it were all killed and eaten. Now, it was convenient for him. Closing his eyes, he could clearly feel the Tyrannosaurus clone in the 10,000 origin mustard stone, comprehending a 3-star profound silver mystic square seal. It was the small silver diamond-shaped seal that the silver-armored beast used before. It could appear anywhere on the body to increase defense. The path of Earth was an extremely strong defense path, and its profound meaning showed the essence of defense. My weakest point is the profound meaning. Lin Feng was very clear that other martial artists usually obtain the cultivation of the Tao of Origin through comprehending profundities, and then use the cultivation of this Tao of Origin to comprehend other profundities. It was a path of origin combined with several profound meanings of the same level. As for the stronger ones, they had comprehended 2 or 3 origin great Taos and had several times more profound intents of the same level. This combination saved time and effort. Moreover, it was extremely strong. However, he wasn't like that. His situation was completely reversed. For example, the Great Tao of Thunder. His 6 great Taos of Thunder had all reached the limit of a 4th-grade origin star world, but his comprehension of profound intent hadn't even begun. In terms of a martial artist's combat strength, the cultivation of the Great Tao of Thunder was merely a decoration. If I can refine a few soul spirits that have comprehended one of the 3 profound meanings of light, darkness, and lightning, my strength will increase again. However, there weren't many such beasts. Usually, only adult cosmic system state beasts had the intelligence to learn it. Most of the adult demons here were at the high level of the star state. Their bloodlines were different. There are 21 adult cosmic system level monsters, Lin Feng said. There weren't many cosmic system state beasts in the valley. Most of them were star states. Hence, he was quite unlucky. The first time he encountered the strongest seven-horned lightning beast, and then he encountered the top 10 silver-armored beasts in this territory. The most unlucky thing was he couldn't get out. Outside the valley was a huge forest that was surrounded. The forces in the forest were complicated. There were more than 10 monsters that were no weaker than the heptagon lightning monster. Unlike the valley, where there were only heart refinement and chi refinement stage monsters, there were many reverting stage and returning stage monsters in the forest. They fought for territory, and the strong preyed on the weak. As long as he got out of the valley, he would die. There are gains and losses. Lin Feng also adapted to the situation. Naturally, he couldn't stay here for a long time, but staying here for only 72 hours was different. With the seven-horned lightning beast's spiral lightning horn, he was like a fox borrowing the tiger's might to intimidate others, wearing a yellow magua. He could go to most of the places in the valley, including the fruits that gathered the fortune of heaven and earth. There was also a holy spring. Lin Feng nodded. This holy spring was only the size of a gourd. It would only pour out a few hundred drops of spring water every day. It was very little and could be drunk in one gulp. Drinking the holy spring water didn't increase one's strength by much, but could increase one's wisdom by a lot. Therefore, these cosmic system-level monsters can also use arcane intent in addition to their own talents, Lin Feng said. If he guessed correctly, the spring water of this holy spring water strengthened the wisdom soul. Although it doesn't help one's combat power much, it's very helpful for future cultivation. Lin Feng wasn't in a hurry to find it. Ever since the heptagon lightning monster took control of the valley, this holy spring belonged to it. Other monsters couldn't touch it. There was no difference between finding it early or late. What he needed to do now first, find all kinds of heaven and earth treasures that gathered the essence of heaven and earth. Second, find a heptagon lightning monster's lair. Third, in the process of finding the first and second, if he encountered light, dark, and lightning cosmic system-level monsters, he would kill them all and refine their spirit souls. Lin Feng quickly took action. There was no time to waste. 72 hours was a race against time. He had to increase his combat power as soon as possible. Although he didn't know which part to strengthen, he could only take it one step at a time. In this valley, there were all kinds of fruits and spirit herbs. Many a little makes a mickle. Except, show countless vines dance like whips. Lin Feng couldn't get close. In this valley, he could go to more than 90% of the places, but he couldn't enter 10%, where the cosmic system-level vegetation spirits were. Although most of the vegetation spirits weren't very aggressive, the prerequisite was that one didn't get close to their domain. Once one got close, the result would be like this. Not to mention Lin Feng, they would even attack the seven-horned lightning monster without hesitation. There was a cosmic system-level vegetation spirit that was even stronger than the heptagon lightning monster. What a pity! Lin Feng stared at a sparkling fruit tree that was protected by the wood spirit, his mouth watering. Every fruit contained an extremely strong soul energy, something that could not be found on the Nemo planet. As long as he could eat it, he could greatly strengthen his innate talent, Realm Force, and Realm C. If he could open his third acupoint, he would become a Silver Plate Elite. At that time, with the origin of True Dragon and the purple eyes of the True Dragon, the power of the True Dragon Realm Yanbing would reach a terrifying level. Forget Jin Hao, even Han Mountain. He was confident that he could kill him with one hit. To be continued. Chapter 1226. However, even if one's talent soul was strong and the Realm Force and Realm C level was high, it didn't mean that one would be able to open the Heaven tier cultivation. Just like the Heart of Origin, it didn't mean that one's cultivation level would be strong. It only meant that one had a higher chance of gaining enlightenment. Opening the third aperture of the Heaven tier cultivation required more fortune and enlightenment. Everything else was just support. Boom! Lin Feng did the same thing and heavily injured another cosmic system state beast. His talent soul forcefully devoured its spirit soul. Still nothing, Lin Feng murmured. This was the third cosmic system state beast he had killed. However, they usually only grasped the talent of origin and had a very shallow understanding of origin intent. At most, they would only comprehend 1 or 2 star profound intents. It wasn't very useful. A 4-star Tao of origin could unleash the power of a 4-star profound intent. To Lin Feng, it had to be at least a 3-star profound intent before he would be interested. He wasn't discouraged. Lin Feng continued to search for cosmic system state beasts. On the 4th, fifth and sixth day, his efforts paid off. Finally, when he killed the seventh cosmic system state beast, he got what he wanted. 3-star profound intent, concealment of illusion. This was a type of profound intent similar to a chameleon. It could change and hide one's body. It was a support, but unfortunately, it was a light Tao. My light Tao cultivation level hasn't reached level 3. If I forcefully cultivate a 3-star profound intent, I can reach level 3, of course. However, if I can't comprehend it, it will take a lot of time. Lin Feng rejected. He didn't have time to waste now. Continue. There were 21 cosmic system state beasts. He didn't believe that there wasn't a suitable one. Holding the spiral lightning horn, Lin Feng continued to kill. Of course, not all the cosmic system state beasts were obedient like kittens. But even if they resisted, they couldn't help but tremble when they saw the spiral lightning horn. In a battle between powerful beings, a single flaw could be fatal. Although some of these cosmic system state beasts were stronger than Lin Feng, they weren't Lin Feng's match. Lin Feng broke through all the obstacles along the way. Finally, Lin Feng managed to break through all the obstacles. 3-star profound meaning, collapse of 1,000 mountains. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. The profound meaning of the Tao of heavy darkness. His Tao of heavy darkness was at the 3rd level, which was just enough for him to unleash it. 5 more. Lin Feng didn't waste any more time. He wanted to wait until he killed all the cosmic system state beasts before making a decision. He only had level 3 cultivation level for the Tao of darkness, unlike the Tao of annihilation, Tao of dark matter, and Tao of dark demon, which had 4 levels. The difference of a single layer in cultivation would result in a difference of at least 10 times. Keep looking. Soon, Lin Feng stopped again. It wasn't because there were cosmic system state beasts ahead. It was because he saw the holy spring. It was more like an eye than a spring. The bottom of the almost dried up spring was clearly visible. Only a few drops are produced every day. There are thousands of drops here. Lin Feng was very satisfied. It was much more than he had expected. The heptagonal lightning monster had been stored for about half a month, and now it had all benefited him. Enhance one's intelligence. Lin Feng was also very curious. The beast had intelligence and could improve it, but what about humans? 100 mind expanse was already the limit. Hua, realm force, turned into 2 hands and scooped up 100 drops of holy spring water. Lin Feng sucked it all in and carefully sensed it with his realm force. He was afraid that his body would be incompatible with the holy spring water. But clearly, he worried too much. Hiss, hiss, the clear energy made his heart feel empty, and his entire body emitted a strong sense of comfort. It was as though he'd been cleansed and looked brand new. Especially his heart. It felt as though it had been cleansed and all the impurities were removed. In the Taiyu origin star realm, there were waves. Lin Feng could clearly feel the 3rd meridian map becoming stronger. His eyes suddenly opened and flashed. My heart force has increased. Lin Feng's sparrow heart was happy. The illusory heart force rapidly increased, and even the Taiyu origin star realm's mental range instantly expanded. It has exceeded 900,000 mental range. Lin Feng thought to himself. He had reached the 4th level of the origin star realm a long time ago. But the expansion of his mental range did not stop, especially when his talent soul and soul of the earth had both evolved to the nebula level. The origin star realm's mental range had greatly increased. In addition, his 6 great Tao of lightning had all reached the 4th level. This time, on Earth, the Taiyu origin star realm from 2 billion years ago could easily exceed 900,000 mental range. This was something he did not expect. But the further one progressed, the harder it was to improve. The great Tao of light and the great Tao of darkness. I need to comprehend at least 2 more 4th level paths. Lin Feng sighed. If there were no external conditions and opportunities, it would be relatively difficult to comprehend even one path. As for bloodlines and the improvement of life's natural order, it was even more illusory. On the contrary, his current heart force was a visible path of improvement. After all, he had the sky heart crystal coffin. Tom did not allow it. Huff, Lin Feng sucked up the last drop of holy spring water and felt comfortable all over. My mental range has increased by nearly 30,000. Lin Feng was already very satisfied. In about a day, the holy spring water had increased by more than 1,000 mental range. This was much faster than the Sky Heart Crystal Coffin. The Heptagon Lightning Beast nest is near the holy spring. Oh! Lin Feng searched carefully, and soon the corner of his mouth curled up. It was not difficult to find. As long as he followed the activity of the lightning energy, he would be able to find it. Asterisk sizzle, asterisk, this was a valley within a valley where the lightning energy was concentrated. Lin Feng happily stepped into it. He could vaguely sense the Heptagon Lightning Beast's aura. The skeletons of Yao clan monsters could be seen everywhere in its territory. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. He then picked up a yellow skeleton with a golden claw. So tough, Lin Feng thought to himself. Even a Heptagon Lightning Beast could not destroy it. This was enough to show its quality. Top-tier Nebula-class material, although it was temporarily unusable like the Spiral Lightning Horn, it was still very valuable. Lin Feng put it away and continued searching. Not far away, there was a layer of curved surface that looked like it was formed by a giant nail. It should be the scales on the Yao clan monster's back. Its defense was extremely tough. In another place, there was a long whip covered with barbs. To be precise, it was the tail of the Yao clan monster. The dark light contained dark green barbs. Not only were they tough, but they were also highly poisonous. Large pieces of broken scales could be seen. It was a horrifying eyeball filled with cracks. Countless teeth that were as sharp as ivory. There were more than 10 types. Almost every skeleton had one or more materials beside it. The entire valley was like a treasure trove. If I'm not wrong, these skeletons were all killed by the Heptagon Lightning Beast. Lin Feng had already put them all away, including the remaining skeletons. These were all top-tier Nebula-class materials that even the Heptagon Lightning Beast could not destroy. Just because he did not know how to use them did not mean they were worthless. Also, Chapter 1227. Fruits. 3 colorful fruits of heaven and earth. The 7-horned lightning monster's aura was the strongest at the location of the 3 fruits. The ground was covered in a layer of bee skin and had a strong, fishy smell. This should be its resting place. And these 3 fruits were the ones it didn't finish the last time. One of them was bright red. It was hard to tell what kind of energy it contained. One was milky white and shone brightly. It was obvious at a glance that it contained strong light energy. The last one was shaped like a ginseng lily. It was moisturizing like water and seemed to be a fruit of heaven and earth that could strengthen the body. Lin Feng naturally wouldn't be polite. He swallowed the milky white fruit first. As expected, a strong light energy surged into the peaceful nether origin astral realm. The light core shone brightly. It contained rich origin energy, but it only strengthened the body. It wasn't very useful. This was because Lin Feng already had an endless supply of Aeon crystals. To the 7-horned lightning monster, it was just an ordinary fruit. Moreover, the taste was quite ordinary. After the origin astral realm was fully developed, the light core, dark core, and thunder core would transform every absorption into energy and automatically strengthen the body. From the silver whirlpool to the silver plate to the silver core to the silver heart. Besides the origin astral realm, the body was also very important. The soul of the earth was fundamentally the 7 spirits that strengthened the body. It was like building a house. If the foundation wasn't stable enough, it was impossible to build a tall building. The body was the foundation. Again, Lin Feng immediately swallowed the ginseng lily-like fruit of heaven and earth. Instantly, he felt like a ghost in the empty valley. His entire body trembled. Clear spring water flowed, warming his meridians and bones. If he ate it when he was injured, it would be quite good. But if he ate it now, it only strengthened his body's toughness. This guy, the 3 fruits of heaven and earth he left behind, are really nothing special. Lin Feng laughed and scolded. He wasn't really disappointed. It was better than nothing. At least there was still one more fruit of heaven and earth. A fruit of heaven and earth that he couldn't see through. Perhaps it was something good. Gulp. Lin Feng swallowed it in one gulp. The bright red fruit suddenly bloomed. Energy surged in, and the peaceful nether origin astral realm fluctuated violently. Lin Feng was instantly overjoyed. This was a fruit that strengthened his bloodline. Strands of ripples spread throughout the dark peace origin astral boundary. Sensing the strengthening of his bloodline, the divine inscriptions shone brightly. He could clearly see the appearance of the black-haired giant and could sense the existence of his strength. The current him didn't even have the qualifications to look up to him. Slowly Lin Feng enjoyed the exhilaration of his bloodline as he sensed the increase in Tai Nether Origin Star World's perception distance. Unknowingly, it had already exceeded 950,000 perception distance and was getting closer and closer to the limit of 1 million perception distance. Upgrading one's bloodline was the fastest way to increase one's psyche range. It was just like how martial artists with good natural endowments could cultivate much faster than ordinary martial artists. Everything was swept clean. Lin Feng searched the entire valley 3 times, making sure that there was nothing left before he left. The Holy Spring and the heptagonal lightning beast lair, which was this valley, were things that he could directly obtain. Everything else was not easy. Head 18 Lin Feng was clean. Only 3 of the 21 cosmic system state beasts remained. Fighting with them would also allow him to hone his combat strength. He could directly kill half of the 18 beasts with his own strength. Time passed very quickly. In the blink of an eye, there were not many 72 hours left. The biggest consumption was the spirit soul refinement. For example, it took a total of 6 hours to refine that silver-armored beast at the beginning. After that, he refined 8 cosmic system state beasts. It took him at least 3 to 8 hours. Lin Feng didn't refine this one. Although it was a monster of the light element, it did not use any profound meaning other than its innate ability during the battle just now. The possibility of it having profound meaning was very slim. Moreover, his light element cultivation level wasn't high. There are still 15 hours left. Lin Feng sighed. He could only cultivate the 3-star dark heavy, profound intent now. Even if he succeeded, it wouldn't change his strength too much. Venture out of the valley. Lin Feng didn't plan to do that. This trip to Earth from 2 billion years ago was at least worth it. Now that there wasn't much time left, it wasn't worth taking the risk. Lin Feng sped up his search for cosmic system state beasts. Time was of the essence. Swoosh, swoosh. A figure sped through the valley. Lin Feng's eyes were like torches. In 2 hours, he found the remaining 2 cosmic system state beasts. This one was the last one. True Dragon Realm, Yin Bing. Lin Feng locked onto his target. Roar. It was a beast similar to the 7-horned lightning beast, but it only had 2 lightning horns on its head. With a roar, a huge lightning mountain descended from the sky and went straight for Lin Feng. A battle broke out. Huh, Lin Feng laughed. The moment he devoured this nebula-grade lightning beast, he knew he had a chance. This lightning beast, which he had spent a lot of effort to kill, had not only comprehended a 3-star profound intent, but also half a 4-star profound intent. Good wine sinks to the bottom of the urn. Time was running out. Lin Feng quickly entered a state of comprehension. He devoured and refined the lightning beast while comprehending at the same time. Compared to 4-star profound intent, 3-star profound intent was much easier to comprehend. Moreover, Lin Feng had a 4-star cultivation base, so it was much easier for him. Complete refinement would bring about a perfect comprehension. The pressure of time allowed Lin Feng to comprehend the essence of 3-star profound intent very quickly. In less than 72 hours, he had already grasped it perfectly. That's it. Lin Feng clenched his fist and lightning energy shot out. He was very satisfied. One more profound intent meant one more level of combat power. There's still half an hour. Lin Feng's heart skipped a beat, and his figure instantly disappeared. Whoosh! Lin Feng appeared in a remote area in the Eastern Valley. After 72 hours of hunting, Lin Feng knew this valley like the back of his hand. This was especially so for the many stalks of plant spirits. They were like many restrictions placed before him, causing him to look at the fruits of heaven and earth in front of him. He could see them, but couldn't eat them. That feeling was very uncomfortable. There was only a single spirit of nature in this place. Its combat power was comparable to a silver platter. He was no match for it. However, Lin Feng looked at the fruits of heaven and earth it was guarding. The fragrance it emitted was the bright red swallow fruit he had eaten in the seven-horned lightning beast's nest. It was a fruit that could strengthen one's bloodline. Not to mention bloodline, just the increase in mental range was extremely precious. The first one I ate increased my mental range by 20,000. My current mental range is 95,000. Lin Feng's eyes sparkled, including the decrease in the effects of eating the same fruit. As long as I can get 3 of them, I will have a chance to reach 1 million mental range. If I can get 5 of them, I will definitely be able to improve the Taiyu Origin Star realm. Chapter 1228. Whoosh! Jin Hao, who had been watching from the sidelines, suddenly changed his expression. His blue eyes were instantly filled with white light. He naturally wouldn't allow his subordinates to be killed by space beasts. As the young patriarch of the Golden Dragon race, Jin Hao was no ordinary person. Not only was he talented, but he also had a powerful realm weapon. White Longmu as a 4-elemental genetic soul warrior, Jin Hao's White Longmu could directly attack. His eyes sharpened, and he quickly locked onto the Tyrannosaurus before he attacked. His enormous body suddenly stopped, as if petrified in an instant. With a sizzling sound, Jin Hao's eyes shone brightly. Dong! Jin Hao's body trembled, and the beam of light in by Long's eyes was cut off. A black shadow scuttled out from the shadows of the universe. A blood-red weapon was burning in his hand with blazing hellfire, and a golden skeletal armor covered his body. A third eye opened on his forehead. Roar! Like an ugly and ferocious bone dragon, it descended with burning flames. Blood Shadow, Li Poji was pleasantly surprised. Lin Feng's expression didn't change. The Heaven Spite demon armor shone brightly, and a red light flashed in front of his chest. A dark demonic light poured out of his eyes. Instantly, a huge force spread from the bottom of his heart, and his body shook violently. Pung! Pung! Lin Feng blocked the attacks of the 3 genetic soul warriors, but he was unscathed. At this moment, the Tyrannosaurus clone's combat power erupted. Close combat was its forte. Its claws flashed past, and 2 level 3 genetic soul warriors were sent flying, spitting blood. The level 4 genetic soul warrior blocked the tail whip. The Tyrannosaurus clone took advantage of the momentum to take a step forward. Ta! Its enormous body brought great power. The tail whip slashed through the air with a clear blade heart force, striking the 2 level 3 genetic soul warriors who had already been injured by the claws. One died immediately, and the other was seriously injured and unconscious. Despicable. Although the level 4 genetic soul warrior was caught unprepared, he still had the power to protect himself. A silver light flashed, turning into 3 halos that blasted toward the Tyrannosaurus clone. But in an instant, a terrifying force locked onto him. The level 4 genetic soul warrior suddenly turned around. Bai Longmu's eyes shone brightly. Clang! The black blade of sin condensed into a powerful force. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Lin Feng split into 3, and the 3 demonic shadows were immediately used. In a split second, the level 4 soul warrior was caught unprepared. Boom, boom, boom. The 3 blades exploded at the same time. The level 4 soul warrior roared, and his entire body blossomed with silver light. Although the defense of a level 4 genetic soul warrior was strong, Lin Feng's attack was not the least bit weak. Under normal circumstances, he would have high-level silver spiral combat strength. Once he activated the Heaven's Hatred state, his combat strength would reach low-level silver disc, enough to break through a defense. Despicable thing. The level 4 genetic soul warrior's complexion was unsightly, but he still managed to block the attack. But in the next moment, the enormous beast in front of him had already arrived, its claws tearing at him like lightning. No! His shrill voice carried the message of death. Lin Feng wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. His footsteps didn't stop. Although he had been injured in the battle just now, he didn't have time to waste. His side was still at a great disadvantage. As he retreated, he swept his gaze over the situation. Li Poji was evenly matched with the level 3 genetic soul warrior. Although his big brother Lin Zhan's combat strength wasn't bad, he could only barely defend against a level 4 genetic warrior. On the other hand, the combination of Sharjah and Death Sun was actually able to hold their ground under the absolute disadvantage. One was defending and controlling, while the other was waiting for an opportunity to launch a sneak attack. Although this was their first time working together, their cooperation was flawless. And the most important thing was Jin Hao. Help Li Poji. Lin Feng only had one sentence. As his voice rang in Blood Shadow's ears, Lin Feng's saber had already slashed out, replacing Blood Shadow as he faced Jin Hao. He was very grateful for Blood Shadow's help this time, but Blood Shadow wasn't Jin Hao's match. Emperor's stabbing strike Lin Feng's attack was relatively fast. Jin Hao snorted coldly. While attacking Blood Shadow, he didn't put Lin Feng in his eyes at all. But in the next second, Shua Lin Feng's figure split into 3. His dark origin suddenly became sharp, with the Heaven's Hatred state increasing his absolute strength. Lin Feng's strength wasn't inferior to Jin Hao's. Like the convergence of 3 triangles, 3 spirals tore through space. 4-star profound intent, hatred-extinguishing spiral rumbling sounds rang out as an astonishing devouring power erupted. This move was even stronger than the Emperor's stabbing strike that had killed the level 4 genetic soul warrior. But Jin Hao's strength was also more terrifying. BZT. Powerful energy protected his body. Silver light blossomed. Jin Hao's lips curled into a cold smile. Although the 3 hatred-extinguishing spirals were desperately consuming powerful energy, they couldn't keep up with the speed of energy replenishment. He had plenty of treasures. On the contrary, Lin Feng was repelled by the reaction force. Jin Hao raised his eyebrows. His disdainful expression was activated as his realm force weapon instantly appeared. A furious roar resounded in his ears as the attack of the Tyrant Dragon clone arrived. That terrifying power was even stronger than Lin Feng's hateful heaven form. Combining attack and defense, the Tyrant Dragon clone's powerful attack suppressed Jin Hao. Lin Feng didn't make a move. A golden true dragon totem treasure appeared in his hand, and his realm force secretly condensed. Bang, 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 the fierce battle was in full swing. The Tyrant Dragon clone had the physical advantage, while Jin Hao had the level and equipment advantage. The attacks became more and more intense. Now's the time. Lin Feng took advantage of the opening. Realm Sea churned. Endless Realm Force used the true dragon's origin in his chest as a medium and quickly emerged. A golden dragon roared into the sky. First attack, Realm Sea Hidden Dragon. The golden dragon flew out from the Realm Sea. Lin Feng's eyes were filled with purple light. The change in Realm Force caused the golden dragon to change as well. It was actually suffused with a faint purple color as it attacked Jin Hao. Innate skill, True Dragon's Purple Eyes. Chi. The golden dragon's power was boundless. Lin Feng had just taken control of the True Dragon realm's Yin Bing, and it was already quite powerful. Bang Bang La Jin Hao was caught off guard and was bitten by the golden dragon. He spat out blood, and his expression became even more ferocious. At the same time, he whistled loudly. Lin Feng was startled and suddenly woke up. Run! All of you run! Lin Feng was practically shouting. A terrifying aura suddenly descended. Lin Feng had been suspicious since just now. Ho said there were 15 enemies, then there should be 15. But now there were only 14. Where did the last one go? It was impossible for him to disappear into thin air. Either he was dead, or he was still hiding and had yet to appear. Right now, this aura had already descended. Clang! A powerful force blocked Lin Feng's pursuit of Jin Hao. The person who came had a square face and looked ordinary, but in truth, he was not. He was Jin Hao's chief bodyguard and the vice commander of this expedition to Earth. Han Mountain, a true level 4 genetic warrior. A level 4 genetic warrior might not be as powerful as a silver plate primary martial artist or a genetic soul scholar when they were at the same level, but that was only a probability, not a certainty. Clang! The giant hammer fell. Han Mountain was as still as a mountain, but it moved like a violent gust of wind. It blocked Lin Feng's attack directly, showing off its extraordinary control over its strength and the heart of the hammer realm. A pair of cold eyes and a gigantic body stood tall and straight. To be continued. Chapter 1229. They closed in slowly. Han Shan could already feel Earth's presence. His eyes shone brightly. Powerful energy gathered on the giant hammer in his hand. The powerful genetic energy fused with his battle prowess. If Han Shan wanted to, he could even destroy Earth. To a powerful warrior in the star system, this was nothing. There are quite a lot of people on Earth, but they're all trash. Their spiritual aura is thin. As they closed in on Earth, Han Shan frowned. He was slightly disappointed by the legendary 9-star life planets. They were not even as good as some of the newly born 5-star and 6-star life planets. However, this had nothing to do with him. What he needed to do was to hand over Earth to his family. That would be enough. One day, Han Shan's killing intent appeared. In one day, he could kill all the humans on Earth. Han Shan landed in the distance. There are quite a lot of them there, too. His gaze was focused on Mars. He snorted coldly. A hint of disdain appeared in Han Shan's eyes. He had no interest in attacking these artificial planets. Once I kill all the humans on Earth, I'll clean up that place. To Han Shan, this was as easy as lifting a finger. Suddenly, thud, Han Shan stopped. The giant hammer shone brightly. At that moment, a figure walked towards them from the distance. He was dressed in black martial arts clothes. He was not tall, but his appearance and presence were very familiar. I'm not hiding anymore, Han Shan said flatly. He naturally did not care about the human from Earth. This human might be the strongest on Earth, but there were plenty of powerful warriors like him in Black Wolf Gold Empire. Lin Feng smiled. Clang! The black blade of evil appeared in his hand. The Tao of dark demon manifested in his eyes, and he activated heaven hatred. Crack, crack, crack. It was the same heaven hatred, but the increase was different. The strength of Lin Feng's body was different from when he was in the silver spiral realm. The change in his body caused his presence to become stronger. In an instant, Han Shan stopped underestimating him. The giant hammer rumbled. Yet in an instant, Han Shan felt that something was wrong. His body was slightly numb. Even the giant hammer had a flash of lightning. The power of lightning was very strong. 100,000 times Thunder Core. 5th grade dark Tai Nether origin star realm. Lin Feng raised his hand, and the world changed color. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. The lightning in the entire dimension spun rapidly and enveloped Han Mountain. It might only be the profound will of 3 stars, but when it was cast with a 100,000-fold Thunder Core and the power of the 4th layer, its power was still extraordinary. The profound meaning of magnetism and electricity, the magnetic field of the heavens. An endless amount of light from the electromagnetic field gathered together and formed the shape of a mountain. Lin Feng's body abruptly disappeared. Han Mountain looked around him warily and gathered his power to its peak, but an endless amount of Lin Fengs appeared around him. Triple Wraith Lin Feng used them at the same time, so his control was extraordinary. Due to the influence of the heaven-threatening magnetic field, the 3 evil shadows turned into phantoms. The slash that was aimed at the Emperor appeared abruptly, and it looked as if it was charging towards Han Shan from multiple directions. Han Shan let out a roar, and the great hammer rumbled, causing the entire magnetic field to crumble. But in an instant, a chill ran down his spine. Not good. Han Mountain glared at him with bloodshot eyes, and a terrifying power came crashing down like a mountain from the top. 4-star profound meaning, helix of hatred. Ah! Han Mountain cried out in pain. He wanted to block the attack, but Lin Feng, who was in the silver plate realm, was much stronger than when he was in the silver whirlpool realm. His speed, strength, and explosive power were far greater than before. The current Lin Feng's battle prowess was equivalent to a powerful warrior in the middle level of the Silver Plate realm, and he wanted to kill Han Mountain, who was only in the initial level of the Silver Plate realm. It was as easy as flipping his hand. With a loud bang, the helix of hatred crashed down. Lin Feng raised his hand and brought the blade down. Han Mountain widened his eyes, and an unwilling expression appeared on his face. His body was torn into countless pieces, and the moment he was engulfed by the power of the origin of darkness, a flash of red light appeared on his chest. In an instant, he exploded and turned into ashes. Elemental region. The people in the research lab where the signal was traced to Lin Feng widened their eyes and looked at the scene before them in shock. They covered their mouths in disbelief and started shouting in excitement. The king of Huaxia is too powerful. Xiao Yi was now full of admiration for Lin Feng. Haha. Professor Jean could not help but smile. How did this guy become so powerful in just a few days? Li Poji mumbled and shook his head. He was amazed by Lin Feng's power. He had once thought that he was close to Lin Feng, but he did not expect the gap between them to widen so quickly. I've finally gotten rid of a huge problem. Lin Zhan was very pleased. Not yet. Professor Jean shook his head. The problem was indeed not solved yet. Lin Feng did not drag things out. Once he killed Han Mountain, he quickly returned to Earth, activated the Space Garden, and went to Planet Nemo. This was a rather fast shortcut that allowed him to reach the border of the solar system. Whoosh! Lin Feng appeared in a flash and hummed softly. He cast his gaze into the distance and smiled faintly. In an instant, he left Planet Nemo. Blood Shadow's gaze was sharp as he hovered in the air not too far away. The corners of his eyes twitched slightly. If anyone looked closely, they would find that his hands, which were crossed before his chest, were trembling slightly. He narrowed his eyes, and a cold glare shot out from his eyes. Slap! He clenched his fists tightly. He became stronger again. Blood Shadow's figure disappeared into the darkness with a murmur. At the border of the solar system. Haha, it's finally fixed. Jin Hao laughed heartily. Young tribe leader, you're so powerful. So awesome. As expected of the young tribe leader. He's so powerful. No matter how hard one tried, flattery would never work. All the genetic warriors praised him. In truth, they were praising him sincerely. It was a miracle that he could fix the damaged spaceship in less than 4 days. Young tribe leader, what should we do next? Jin Hao's trusted aide, Jin Xiong, asked. Wait for news from Han Mountain. Jin Hao immediately turned on his communication device and widened his eyes. His expression changed. Impossible. Jin Xiong looked over and was also stunned. The communication device showed that there was no signal. It was not that the call could not be connected, but that the communication device was not working. There was only one possibility, and that was that the communication device was destroyed. Han Mountain would definitely not destroy itself unless Han Mountain was killed. Jin Xiong could not believe it. The genetic warriors around him could not help but shudder. If even Han Mountain was killed, what would they do? Jin Hao's expression changed. He shouted almost immediately, Everyone, come in and activate the dark matter space jump. This spaceship from Black Wolf Gene Empire could naturally jump through the dark matter space and enter the dark matter tunnel. But shouts, 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 3 cold rays of light appeared and killed 3 genetic warriors who were about to jump into the spaceship. Jin Hao turned around and glared. It was the young man from Earth who had injured him before. You boom! The only remaining genetic soul warrior attacked Lin Feng, but in the next moment, a purple light flashed above his head. Boom! The purple-eyed demonic death knell fell. Lin Feng flashed past, and a thick darkness enveloped Jin Hao. Bang! Jin Hao still wanted to fight back, but his strength was not even comparable to Han Mountain's. How could he compare to the current Lin Feng? The black blade of evil slashed through the air. Lin Feng killed Jin Hao as if he was cutting grass. Then, he killed all the remaining powerful warriors of the Golden Dragon tribe. None were left alive. Hua, with the black blade of evil in his hand and the Heaven's Hatred demon armor, Lin Feng looked like a demon. To be continued. Chapter 1230. Black Wolf, Gene Empire, Gene Long Race. How Air is Dead. Jean Chao's face was gloomy. The wine glass in his hand shattered with a crack. Fine wine flowed out like crocodile tears. Jean Chao's clothes fluttered slightly. Earth is stronger than we thought. As the strongest genetic warrior of the Jinlong race, Jin Mao was Jean Chao's personal bodyguard. Simply put, he was Jean Chao's trusted aide. That day, he followed Jean Chao through the dark matter passage to Earth. Unfortunately, they failed at the last moment. Damn it! Jean Chao slammed his hand on the table and gritted his teeth. Every time he felt like he had it in his hands, it slipped away. That feeling made him frustrated and unwilling. Patriarch, what should we do next? Jin Mao asked. Report to the Black Wolf Jin Empire. Jean Chao shook his head coldly. We can only get a one-time fee. It's not even 1% of the value of a 9-star life planet. Jean Chao frowned. Either we don't do it, or we do it big. But both the young Patriarch and Han Mountain failed. Jin Mao said, the enemy's combat power is around level 5 genetic soul warrior. Our race's technology can only use level 5 energy. Buy it, Jean Chao shouted. He had even bought the expensive space reset seed, so buying some level 6 technological weapons was nothing to him. Inform all level 5 genetic soul warriors to stop what they are doing and enter the Milky Way virtual world to practice level 6 technology. Jean Chao's eyes were blood red. As long as they passed the standard test, no matter how expensive the level 6 technology is, the race will buy it for them. Time limit, 3 years. Within 3 years, I want them to master a level 6 technology. Those who fail the standard test will be punished according to the race rules. Jean Chao clenched his fists. He was ready to risk everything. He didn't want to give the precious 9-star life planet to someone else. 3 years' money. At worst, the Jinlong race's economy would decline for 10,000 years. As long as he succeeded, the Jinlong race would get 100, 1,000, or even 10,000 times return. 9-star life planets were rare even in the Milky Way. Solar system border. It's finally over, Lin Feng said softly. Although he knew that the Jinlong race still had information about Earth and would not let Earth go so easily, at least before the dark matter passage led to Earth, the Jinlong race could only come to Earth through the original universe. It would take at least 9.5 years. Earth had another 9.5 years of peace. As for what would happen 9.5 years later, no one knew. Although 9.5 years was a blink of an eye for cosmic system states, it wasn't short for Lin Feng. After all, he was only 32 years old. In another 9.5 years, perhaps he would have the ability to contend with the Golden Dragon race. Let's go home. Lin Feng smiled. Finally relieved, Lin Feng looked at the magnificent spaceship in the distance. With a wave of his hand, he kept the spaceship into the storage ring given to him by Hui and left. Heart Hero Island. Lin Feng's children, Lin Xining and Lin Nemo, were playing happily. Wu Luan had a bitter face. The Heavenly Demon Emperor had become a full-time nanny, playing the game of eagle and chicken with the two children. My little ancestor, can we not play with the tail? Wu Luan complained. Uncle Wu Luan, run faster. Sister is about to catch me. Lin Nemo shouted. Yes, yes, yes. Mother Ji Ruhua looked at her grandson and granddaughter with a kind smile. In the training field, Xiao Yu and Huang Tian were sparring. Yu was watching from the side seriously. Lin Feng stood at the border of Heart Hero Island and looked down. Although he was high up in the air, with Lin Feng's strength and cultivation, it was easy for him to see the elemental territory below. Not only Lin Feng, but Xia Ling and Shi Manzi also had this ability. Big brother Lin, when are you planning to leave? Xia Ling stood on Lin Feng's left. Standing on Lin Feng's right was Shi Manzi. The two of them had been getting along well these past few years, and they called each other sisters as if they were family. In 2 months, Lin Feng said. The two girls were slightly surprised. Shi Manzi said, Earth is still in danger. The Golden Dragon race has already stopped moving. Professor Jean said that there are no problems. Xia Ling said, the Elemental Commerce Alliance and China have us. Big brother Lin, you don't have to worry. I'm not worried. Lin Feng smiled. and said to the two girls. Looking back at the two children, Lin Feng's eyes were filled with love. It's Nemo's birthday in a month, and then it's Xining's. I want to spend this year's birthday with them before leaving. Oh, you. She Manzi laughed. It's okay. I can also cultivate in the saint remains. Lin Feng smiled. Now that he had received his master's gift and become his teacher's official disciple, his authority had increased a lot. He could even enter the true Dragon Black domain's galactic civilizations. Moreover, even on Earth, he could comprehend the origin, source ocean, and cultivate. When one's strength reached the galactic level, it was more about one's realm and heart. As for energy, Lin Feng didn't need to worry at all since he had an endless supply of Ian crystals. Looking at the Chinese martial artists in the elemental territory below, seeing them living and working in peace and without worries, Lin Feng felt very satisfied. His efforts were worth it. During these 2 months, Lin Feng didn't stay idle. The selection of super elite seeds was in full swing. With Lin Feng's eyesight, there was no way he would miss anything. Moreover, Li Poji's innate soul had just broken through and transformed into realm force. His eyes were fiery and golden. There are so many geniuses on Earth. After a few months of selection, Lin Feng had selected 111 martial artists. Among them, there were those whose mind expanse exceeded 70, 40, and even 10. Their ages were uneven. There were some who were over 60 years old, and some were under 10 years old. However, most of them were in their teens or 20s. This was because this age group had the most potential. Potential wasn't about reaching 100 mind expanse or reaching the galactic level. It was about reaching beyond the galactic level. Innate talent was one aspect, and willpower was another. Yes, Li Poji sighed. I didn't expect that in just a few years, 100 mind expanse had already become the standard for Earth's humans. Lin Feng smiled. The invention of the Shao-E gene capsule allowed the third generation of Earth's humans to walk their own path. Starting from tempering one's body and genes, they would only make a choice after reaching 100 mind expanse. Firstly, their foundation would be solid. Secondly, their body and genes would be strong, making it easier for their bloodline to break through in the future. Furthermore, after reaching 100 mind expanse, they would have a clearer understanding of themselves and their innate abilities. The possibility of choosing the wrong path would be greatly reduced. They are Earth's future. Lin Feng smiled. Li Poji glanced at Lin Feng and shook his head. No, you're Earth's future. To be continued.